for free about time.
Right, some not saying from Finas and then just at the Black Stars of Ghana. Almost to me, and I say, Deso Kokorama, Namibua, Omani Ivory Coast, and I just said about first, so my partners a Saturday idea, and we are, and I just said the match, and I said to my first, and so to an Amen Tuja, and so to from us, that's at 7 p.m. And you man, I just saw game now, and I said to my Tojan, and so to my nest and a Cape Coast, Sports Stadium, and Stars and a ground bay training. And so to be answered to come and sweat to me the mama, Nampacha me the teacher, and so to me the master after I'm not 10 no more to me, I know, on a Pramoya Kaka Nevia, I just some better so never be answered to come and sweat to the mother Black Stars of Ghana. Moment front to Mrs. Siano, I had just a coach and the task of Blacono, on no sweat to a Siana as a place no, and no one did it in Como area said will be answered who sit here, said a bear, and then will be answered by Filigo. Now, Fanny be answered to a come. At the moment, Coco Gana said, I know, Brofona, almost sweating fire no, Sapa Papa and opening no, on no sweating me and no sweating me, now my main front to draw, and sweating from us and Ghana, your match at just an Africa Sababano, Senegalese referees, and your dear Sama Sababedis game no, me patron Fantija, Salatif and Daring Kwana for Frefia, me patron nay, I had also free my conquer Ghana, and also Bedis game nibe, Nampacho center referee, like one line tuning on the Freetness and then Republic of Senegal, and I just almost Sababano Biasa Kama, and Tama conquer Ghana, Pacho center referee, no, I had doubt guy. Ono ewa be jamo me patche na branch little chick ono so be assistant like one and what you in front to just Ngwomi NS Amado and so be to jamo e NS line 2 no now for fourth referee now Kwakwa Latif and Dari ono any other free Ghana ono so to Kwakwa Chama Bianso come and so from this awesome no and also team dama ya tier for 80 silver 98.3 FM Nessa when your sports center Jumade and other trust ya debra and so to Bianso etima kama so 20 Facebook no on like page na so what ma share na bia so to akoma and so to me fantiga and so ti from us no Silver TV on Facebook, Samson Silver 98.3 FM on Facebook. Next, all the messages in us. So, actually, the baby can come up. Also, to me the message and I had just a heavyweight in this and I had just a Bianca to come up. And so to me, Fantiga, and so to from us, Kumasi Sante Kotoko. Almost a team of friendly game and said that the two Jadama and Anapa say 8:30 Kotoko friendly game on the quad as Sampdoria and I just said the Babasona. Me Fantiga say Kumasi Sante Kotoko, almost a kind of Marco and 9 editor Sampdoria for Monso, and Timothy Sakana, a brother Ivan Santomarco, the Go Monga, 18 bonus and then a brace. And was our game anymore. Moment front to just a Safu Taylor, and Sotina go back and Sampona Ibrahim Osman, and also the Bako Kawa Kotoko, Esha Kana Marco and 9, and the Attorneys Quadas Sampdoria, almost 1 Timante, Nayo Rama, near Shama Timistate, Edema Kumasi Sante Kotoko, and no moment to buy a substitution, so to Momano, Senesiko Felix Ananda go postmo, me patro Andrew Appel, me patro former Bofoko player no, Onusia can be nemo, or Frimo, and my branch and did Wahab Adams, and so Babesia Canebe, and Cannon no see a Diana Stars player, we see a Canebe, and sweating on Manuachi, Samuel from Paul, and see a Canebe, Bekwa Youth Football Academy, and a branch and no from Johnny Kotoko Bobo, and Swekona, and Wachi Sif Mubarak, and Soja Musiakai, Habib Bibi Mohammed, Ejina Musiakai Nebe, Edemanes and Kumasi Sante Kotoko, Patrick Kojo Asma, as usual, number 3, Edma Kotoko Bobokono, and what Emmanuel Kayake, Esiakai Binaso Frimo, and Mamudasiru Salifo, and also Bamo, and Babesia Kanebe, Mamma Fantu just Emmanuel Sarkodia, my skin, and so to Misia Kanebe, former Kranza Warriors captain, and I just on also Esiakai Adema Kotoko, and what Nabila Keita, or no Siakanebe, Fabio Gama dos Santos Don, Nasonoso Bobe, and what Augustine Okra, and so Siakai Nemono, and there's a Fabio Gama, Efrima Osman Ibrahim Babeshemo, and so Tima Benyago, Edema Kotoko Bobo Kona Bianso, Etuko Kama Dema Nessa Sante Kotoko, Mamma Frantu Jasa, Yeremo Boise Santi Goda, Mamma Frantu and Nemesis Seno, Dr. Kwaku from Paul, champion, and I just open one also. Desene wa dia kwakwato boase nurse ne chief imama anase zongo chief odi akwakoto na nim se nei ya de sensensem bi enso tuma sisi enso so timi one nurse ne no ya de se one ne supporters ne tem na mpacho mi tujwa enso timi edi ama se ne no ya de se penya de doctor kwako frempo aseme ka no bi anti asese no o person penya nurse ne ono ya de se zongo hene ento timi solve matters no na bia so timi ko kama enso timi odi mama sensensem na aba no omu se panyini bama be adwobrel enso betu aba na mpacho dapote a mbeshia ne de afei ana mo hwe se owo so ebetimi ahia.
Okay, me den 70 be to us so am ko house of focus so ya bobo economy pa to makachi and me boy rai and some be ekukuru epeja e de free hoba say and then ma e Kumasi Asante Ekotoko and say house of focus tie for no e de open friend e togbe afede me pa to open decided say e say a transfer no one e de ne ho ba gimo ono na be transfer negotiations no e de amaya house of focus bobo econo e sanse sika no so yini bafu some fan ko transfer as a player so mo edeba bobo ko no no open na ene enya ho sentia mete ne so open na na adwen say wono ana obey transfer and negotiations no e de ama house of football bobo ekonte no so and some kakra fi house of focus so ya ba and then anopay and I say sorry na via ye de ema etiefo e wo me pacho sports air center jumede no and so me pacho branch friend air Daniel Kodia na no house of focus pay for and they go PM our air South Africa obi man so onko air surgery no a branch na ko air surgery successfully me pacho tuma ba be PM our air Ghana make us say house of focus prepare 2 years aya contract adiama abrante ne say what and the manager and steady na me pato bibia to for madwobra obe assign and so adiama na say on sign and for my house of foka aya bobo e continue kopan aduma abrante friend Daniel aya Kodia obe assign 2 years contract and so adiama bobo kwa your friend house of foka so an abrante friend aya Patrick Kofi Ansu osiaka adema Chelsea bobo ekono entia meti na wiei e branch no likely so be joining house of folk bobo econo essence house of folk pay for scouts no I started a monitor a branch no international and some kakra free oba me pacho and avia me de ama aye for me free ama memra 19 aye 35 bobo econo and no aye Asante Ekotoko tio krore krare brawa homa so ne bobo econo me pacho border so mo ehwe Kumasi Asante Ekotoko bobo econo so and manimi anase prayer no and exactly 1 year me pacho pay for a power more I want antoma and it's a yes for you say mama and baba steady affairs of Kumasi Asante Ekotoko as a board members na me pacho Kumasi Asante Ekotoko asoewa coach your friend Marano aya Barreto me pacho we president branch your friend Wahab Adam say Wahab say na me nim say about no nim bossa Sabo no ya de na manfo cancer bebre and so alpha hono na me test wo against aya Asante Gold no ono was a branch and bono onimbo papa it was man special training a branch friend Wahab Adam so me pacho onko so na onye se na be me pacho bobo ko friend Kumasi Asante Ekotoko no chu obeje wo enso to me akenten so no is to me live on Facebook Silver TV and I say Silver 9813 odo message ne ba me pacho me kinka dia ma sanso na comment section no bomodia say obeko won na me pacho comment no ja wo ade ama ayan ye be kinka ne kama Ediama, who calls up Modia Sobe share on several on countless occasions. Maybe about me, I say Modia said, who share answer to me at Diama, Sanso I like a page, you know, and Sanso Alpha Amaya. Now, me free one, I mean, Kokumase, Asante Ekotoko, Adako Ajate, me pacho project, you know, or pay a friend of Dr. KK Sapon, one and I said, Aya Adako Ajate, me pacho Edena Isuano, or pay NSAS, now me pacho 6 contractors, ever share a project, Dr. KK Sapon, SS. No said project no maka say wo mo aya ebe chiskapa sikatitiri de na mpacho mo adebeye say project anu ntia na mo ya maje say na mo fa container embassy so na mo nya na modern okodu amano ne abroche baby bia anase baby bebre no container and a month for Adia Modan and to Kumasi Asante Ekotoko pay for eternal so say yes so container now a bit more cheaper and we decided some more yeah a container no and so our aya Dako Ajate na me pacho compartment first compartment me pacho and no a place no hostel players no hostel and first compartment no sound so and me patch second compartment no me patch for the medical team of Kumasi Asante Kotoko sound so and a third one no for the coaches and patch fourth administrative block it's no any sent chichemuna yade ama atiefo and then awie sports center Jumediano and so me patch Facebook make messages no akakra branch friend or St. George or see more fire Paul Yao Asamoah okay on it your dear by no sound so anna ameyao Ifa Prince or see good work sound so anna Pedro Wama
Silver Sports
or see no and so enjoy show no all the way from Town or so sound so anna Yao Sebe amekom ahimfie or say watching the show live from Gospel Oak Barbre and Shop amekom ahimfie sound so anna Hamid Shaban Amit or see more fire on also the Jawadi Abaye and so and on Nanakojo AGH so and the message about or see keep the good work or Safo Adwa and Fancy. Okay, yeah, I say this is the time I'm not trying pay a friend Alaji Baba Shai and the newspapers no brand and I promise that 2 p.m. There be another global interview on this particular network. The Bombardier say over say glue to your radio set and I say Facebook or no over time potchum na watch na enter 2 p.m. ya the interview no baba Alaji Baba Shai bibi abakodi open
papa nyakopa do bia dan ko won safo mafo
ya do kese na se ne kratan na wan e buy
person no ohia local people person bi nu na buy
Silver Sports
Abidjan and Cote d'Ivoire dey na eso ye ennan and ababeduru
okay
anti se me sha se a kama me sha se mfam free local people no 1 day 3 cut okay right was see no turning back Kumasi Asante Kotoko Sabia Krofon Tuto Sport na de ba
Silver 98.3
no turning
FM
back eke se Kotoko omo kuko omanim omachi de omo machi Phobia corner was see Mediama one House of Oak ahead of Sunday's match Mediama one House of Oak ahead of Sunday's big clash
Silver Sports
Omochi takwa ha se ombe surprise has sire obede be Kotoko obuase no sa no obede be has do obede ukura de takwa de
Silver Sports
onkuta 2-0 omaka omudi okakwa se omaka omudi awi aka nyame de na nyame de na be ho Gono Chrome Chronicle Osaf Mavo Gono Chrome Chronicle wasi Club d'Africa Confédération
Silver Sports
Petit Le Monde dans là-bas apleti la Côte d'Africa oui ça va pour les monsieur
Silver 98.3 FM
wasi ni hwehwe mo waye Gono Chrome wasi ni hwehwe mo waye free kafa so ye papa utie me kafa so ye hwehwe mo waye ne say afi 2021-2022 omebo ayi relegation championship teams ombeko relegation no omuso bebo omuso African Cup Ghana has said no according to Gono Nyame na meka o Gono Chrome Chronicle Abidjan people na kan was see the hwehwe mo why na fiko no say Ghana ha Intalas very present House of Folk. Aye. Omu for 2 and Ghana so 3 in relegation. Intalas a very present a very present Ghana. Our relegation Cup of Nations on Bon Africa no. Na Kim face as well.
Silver 98.3 FM.
Sana people na diaba. We Pierre Konabedie was a club de Diana Chamise Mutalamwa Potosoa. Mauvaise formulation, tout la mois, Congo là-bas, a tutué, constellation.
Alage.
Aussi, the human way, and say, Adriana starts will play a B, strike a B or and yeah, Mohameda. Wakoto boot be boot no, ya actually relegation. Adriana starts strike no.
Play on a boot no, ya actually relegation.
Na almost say I say canvas no. Was some be liberty folk room. no mu di nya de wo mu Liberty folk room a relegation won be ko sa na people no ka
okay
say bia na de omu da yie nti omu a omho kire omu no Liberty nti sa butu na player na ko player no ni di wo ha na bibi ntimi fa ntoja
Silver 98.3 FM.
Onya de won krofo du room relegation won be ko Voyez, Bontuko Express.
Okay.
Bontuko Express is club du Ghana. Célébrer la poupouille. Monsieur, Salankalatoire, appelez-vous la terre, Villation, Sankratia, Adjankuma, Confédération.
Alaj Baba.
Silver Sports.
Wasi ligi, a mo primo yi. Mo jekura. Mo ko say no.
O de hwan
Salajilama asamanfu legi amu hasifo yi amanfu hamediyama hakarele moje kura masa ko suko masa Bontuko Express wa mo club bi adin dia me asame di ba wiye Cocody Rasta.
Okay, Cocody Rasta.
Cocody Rasta was a club du Accra policeman.
Silver 98.3 FM.
Comme moi encore, c'est pas bon. T'embêter au bridier du club du Ghana. Cocody Rasta non. Voici Timbi, un permanent player. C'est ça aussi quand tu as terminé ça. Free de mo hoko, ya pamon. Ya kobo match we by bania betua. Monsieur no.
Silver Sports.
And the player and the hopo. And we see ni ama say we jani milo ho. The other chim when they of say Omfa farmer no ko million omo so me dey atom electricity car. Be the sumuna ba wie. Once again mama nko akra na me chia me.
Alaj paper na yes asto na paper be.
Silver Sports.
Me he.
Empato ni.
Ehin fa na so tre say oja na me na yi o demo no.
So person mi sisu ma o mewa.
There be sa paragraph ko na o tre say wa
enu ni empato ni.
Ana also oja na dey.
Oja ni milo mienu e wo demo sesa ne ma ho peprinti. Oja milo.
Silver 98.3 FM.
So what I say. Ana omo so omo fara sim from ko mo dey atom electricity car.
Silver Sports.
Alaje dasi nyame show.
Ma o de ma me chia me do ba wa Accra. E fe na bisi poku, edusi konkonko wona na yere. Omo tie show dindin on Facebook, me chia omo nyina.
Okay.
Omo hwe ni Facebook chia omo nyina, omo tie ni ba radio, wa sha me chia omo nyina. Nyamishira mo bedase.
Okay, yes we dase. Wo. Yabenko foreign ya kwakofa foreign news at Jama yetim for na real live on the show. This so Sports Center live on 798.3 hashtag on Twitter and Betway and 5 years. And tis work on Twitter and one say be a Betway. And so I tried out to tweet about me hashtag Betway hashtag Betway at 5. Now just audio tour come at Jaba and a silver Euro 2020 so bet me hashtag and a face Sports Center Jumediano and also bet me hashtag na or tweet no and the associate foreign buy a baban Bukadia Caninano yet the Amana Bipias I come up. Japan come on Yabe from an instant Bana Fiabatrasana Yasham Kaka 2 o'clock Yabedin Como and then and so I say another just an interview. This time Yabeko Germany na Germany no any another German football aspect and a bidding come and then and some Jumedian so na Rafael Hoistein Yanin Ebekasa and then after Dia Kenin and so me out to us. So you come on Yaba now foreign news out to us.
Let's go. Make no excuses now. I'm talking here and now. I'm talking here and now. Let's go. Your time is running out. I'm talking here and now. I'm talking here and now. It's not about what you've done. It's about what you're doing. It's all about where you go. It's no matter where you've been.
Silver Sports.
Let's go.
Silver Sports.
Let's go. Let's go.
Silver Sports.
Let's go. It's now or never. Let's go. There is no better time. I'm talking here and now. I'm talking here and now. Let's go. Right now is where you shine. I'm talking here and now. I'm talking here and now. It's not about what
Silver
you
Sports.
done, it's about what you do. It's all about where you go.
Right into Yakuna Yamon in some trust to the Maya till Fernando Panas and Area. Our make such median in an air by a really kind of foreign news now. Yabam Kakanabo Kratch, Tatanabo interview, no, and so at me out to us an area so far Zumno, Yabasa Crosso Cabatawa brought this time. Yakut Jamin Ewa Brasan Comogeniano, and also Nebetiabaso, Mamin Fantu and our bright area Jamin Sakano, and some not so Romeo and some of my Jacanino was Sanso Ebetiaka. Now, Mamma News, some news, we're training on this appeal. The man now transfer be a Timono, and some Nobet me confirm sa Brantena. Your father said, George, no, why now, Domino? Woman so at me, now make us a branch of father, why now, Dom? And a German second, Paris and German Timono, and some not me confirm officially. Initial stories and a Beninano, and some non so brain Aquacosai, near Trent any data. Ababasabo covers of PLG, and some Nobet me announcement is one trainer, and so our Facebook could also a Brenano pay, and on Scenario, Orange Mediana, Mamma Front one Saninano, and some video. One also added bomb at a Sankai amateurs or Piazzo, I was a Brantano, and some Nanya Dranisita. Your father said, no, so IHS or PSG, and to Wine out Domino, and come on for some of your dinner. Your father said promotional video, and so Adama Wine out Domino, and I just also shower Facebook and so, and watching my men for Toms of Pino, and some not contract or sign here, and some Naya, your father said until 2024, and then watching your Mensacano, and some Nadisican and Sabatiaka, and so I 9.5 million euros. Or father said, why not, Domino? And some number to me, I had Yagunabotum, 18 news sitting on the Safedia, my men for Toms Sakano, and some Nanya Sani officially until 2024. Now, the Mensacano said the first was one of some other two challenge, and I say, I want to just and when you new challenge, I'll sign you challenge, and some other so trying to PSG. Now, only your GDA Sunday, so we'll get him Sawasa, so for now. Now we'll probably at the best air training courses, and some now Europa, the Bacanian and PSG Fano, and some air Sanfonibia. Now, the GDA Basa, Dana Kumaso, and about Quatio so one cancer player, no, when you catch your four, and watch your beer, where you're ambitious, our brand watching, was I determined, no, I had there, on some Nabetima PSG Timino, and some Natia Common, and watching them and second so point say, you want to just say your best work, and some not send what John one of the best teams are. Woman so our Europe into one Tiasiano, or Rafa so I know Tom, and say you want to just send Uko PSG now can clubs I would say one should drum announce our match anymore. Robert Miaka so PSG Fano as one of the best sons none ya PSG as approve almost status I'm Bianso just the last season when we confine our Champions League anymore and watch the season at Chamunano one said Dunia your first summer finals our brand what did you about so call Kauno what also bet me up my Sandy Marinano as at Miako Kama and also I am Brantena your first so I know Tom as some Nadia call to Jones. Something you know, yet Emma, yet for an area, and some no show so, and watch it. Your man can say, remember for a Monchester, a Brantana, your father said, Killing Papi, most of them about Miatono, number Korean father saying Papi, and some other Babasina Kanema Tima, your father said, remember our Babasina, Monte Pine and Canino, Jamie and say, I am Nema Daseva Junior, and I crack Danis Stumbling Block, I am Nema, and I crack Siaka, our process say, Emma Brantana father in Papas Sutuno, and also to me, so. Said them second Sanyama, and you can Roma and Sana Nema, and so FTS I signed new contract I'm a PSG, and it's a Amoka and say Mbappe Everton, and I say Mbappe Everton, when him the entire so rename, and some Etimiko, and I damn second is a Pino, and so any Brenton for the Mbappe, and so Etin Kuma, am I a Mbappe, so can try to say, woman in Abeste, Natchez, woman in Ansaya, Jumanum, and Sadia Bomb, Sarabea, Titus, Somo Trensa, woman Sabet, Yakanino, Akanino, and also Nobet Yabum, and Tramesaka, Sani. Maninano, and some not play part and an so, and my branch and for the Nema, and some not stay, and to Sawate, Sabia in Papenon. Jetana Sabia Jumadiano, as me uncle from a matrita, and Manino, our brano, and some night updated from a swateba, Yadasan Saminano, and some Natema Yatil for Anna, and some our branch Mediano, and also Agusu Alcaso, and watching my men front to our brother Mensaka, and some not so room, as our son from a Joseph Marino, what can I say, maybe Joseph start with Detina, and Cobasa Roma, as the announcement, Abana, just a Roma Timino, I'll confirm and say, Joseph Marino, Ababe, the new manager, as Adiama Roma. Roma enso awo Rome no ameka cho sem supporters ni bi akwa painting asa painting na supporters na akwa no wo so aye painting awo Rome wo ko Roma wo bi ho ana ko ba se fans na ko sa painting no na painting na supporters na kwa ye enso ane say wo mo di Jose Mourinho awoti akonoma moto so enso ana chese o de ato wo no ana chese message ni nyina simple Jose ababe Rome ewa brand ya ye kan say no aye Roma scooter no ana chese so refer say Jose no so ate so aye painting na ho data any nimsa Roman so Lazio fano so de woman so anshedanka woman so ayakrafo na after say eno edebatu dwase Lazio enso apa manager fanisa Mauricio Sarri wontoma a chese come fa so a woman ya announcement nyina de won latest ne ma wono ma me mfanto am say sa Jose painting na woman ya ewo chese Rome hono Lazio supporters ne say omu coach no sabi onu so onum cigarette pa omu nya ba bia nkodro no enti ba bia Roma foye Roma chese Jose de no ehwa anu omu so pe enti sa wo hwe Facebook no so away ensom na Jose pentina woma ne data analyze supporters ne bi so akokodro owura fan sa Mauricio Sarri wo hwe cigarette opu musie no ensom na de good Jose and ne helmet ne so ababra cha so omu se pentina nie the Lazio supporters ne kan na sa wo ko Roma wo na sa wo munya anyo mu page to manya ba bia te sa ba bia ko ba se Roma fo no enso no kwa Jose ana kwa ko ba se me se kan se painting no wo mo so ade owura fa se Pochettino na so owura ye fa se Mauricio Sarri je no enso no kwa ko sai na eno so update me se kan sansam ni nyina no ye te ema ye te for enawia enso no wo show no so our plan no enso ye latest eno so no from aso ate ba sansam ni nyina no ye de twitwa enso our show no so na ma me mfanto no our project me se kan no ade se sia me ka sai owura fa ne Pastorello and so a agent Tadama Romelu Lukaku. Now Pastorello say you want to just send a client, you know, when you be Piaco. Now boy I happy our Inter Milan and what you wouldn't need some cartoon chair. You want to just sell Lukaku and some Bobo Cavan say Inter our contract data and to problem Pian was our Inter Milan supporter. Serbia Job Yamoniate, Munim Serbia manager first Conte Echo and into boys, you know, and some never come at Jack and Exodus, you know, and some not what was or reference of Pastorello. One so your agent Tadama Lukaku say you want to just a no and some money by Biako our brand on also a best stead work Koswaya Juma and some Nadama Intababa corner and also update Eba set you for Bakaya and Chebian and to just a coach and say Juve Asan Fana your father some mass Allegrino make a chance or say goalkeeper Fanasa Sassini Momo Manin Kobe Bia Onum Anaman Donnarumma and move to Juve and to Miamaso na ene Jamin second story I'm able to and maybe a criminal report on second says Yana say yes the Intia Kobasa Mas Allegri and some Nakacha Jew and Panufan say Momon Conco talk to Naruma Namum Omoma goalkeeper your father say which Jassini and so Antrano what did you pass and Uko Yase now we can't goalkeepers Emma Kumako 4 I just am Omunuma Juma now almost new post no chia what did you pass Jassini no and some one of the top 4 goalkeepers almost our Yase Abrasa bracket you know or father said to Naruma and so MMC and I was sending Panaba watching Serbia who Jano na kone bokrano wo som na kwa fani pa ofro esom na jana ba ti manager no ana ma boy no so stay wo ka ponche na ye fan se Marko Anatovic ebe si akan o Premier League ni mum Sikabai was time for Jano Kwamano called China. Report on inside can say China Yanite. Ama said Yaban say player now. Your fans of Marco Anatovic say was up as what returning and some by Europe. Now Europe all Beninano and he can't pass up Bologna and some other point at Casamacha Santasia and so Aya Jumanisa. Our brother said Yaman Sakanino and some others of Marco Anatovic Adiano and also about Miabaso of a free Chinese league anymore and some upper as I said Dula I get you closer. I'm a brother first. Natovic and some Nasaba to Europe, no, the second so Bologna for no, and so added 3-year contract and then 2 anymore. One more so chance on us about me signing. I'm a update in Nino and also from a sweater, about 2 just a pontena, your father Kingsley Coleman. I just on us as an account Bavros of Bamunchin. And you'll be yes, say, and Commandant Corner Bamunchin for this. What is some other signing new contract? No, I can't credit be all. I'm a brand agent, take us so many client to the coin. Emma Chessa Codanos and Co. Not the Evans. say buying for somebody woman is shaken woman to me Casabia woman who do player no against on one Casane will Sabia Chinchina Chine I was up branch for the seconds Coman and some Atana and tis a boy say Ampany Ampa Obaswoko now on to me by Munch and Yajmabium dear I have some procra 100 million club with me famra not what we say Kinsley Coman Janawe 1 pound and net obey 100 million euros I catch some of the Quakoto player your first seconds Coman Tanaba and Quanquabia Leroy Sanabi and Quanquabia said Janabri Adam and Sakan Bueno and some money bonum 700 million euros party will be said about now I can say you have a sober for player now your first seconds Coman Tokono report time Mr. Kansas say pa and Yadasa Satano and some Nobet Maya Chuma and also I update to Abba Navy Yadasa Stories in Inano and some Natamia Chofa Brano and some Nayo Media and also Agusu Alcoso Mamin Fantom some stories and so and then your matches out was our games, no, and also a bet me a basso. Now, my main front two and our brother, and second matches have a bassunino, William South Africa and Uganda, as our friendly match up and I have 4 o'clock on South Africa, and some Uganda for friendly game, no, and also Ababasso. Now, woke up Bafana, Madame Tuanum and our assistant coach now, no, and some Aya Bronino, Aqua coverage in Tina, on your available and from a side game, no, now match Abaswa, Yaman second, somebody Uganda Abano, one of some confirms a Brantana. Your father said one Williams Achasono and some goalkeeper and about Captain Bafana and Anna Tree. One most any Uganda game no and some Nabet Miabaso and into run one Williams I captain and South Africa Mino and Anna Jomo Gamer and some Nabaso against Uganda the Cresceno and so Abayajuma Innocent Maila and a band deputy as I came no and some Nabet Miabasune Yeka captain Sensamino Nema Diano Kaisa Womujinema captain Ambanta Data I say oh and Quadasa Dania Damanfo and some Naso Panema, our Brazil Lame Cofan Sempi, and some not to Bayaniate. Now, Yabako Copa America, Brazil for a host winning and should I know Macacho that I send there, who court as a Brazola, Supreme Court, among Panifono, and some Quasatina, and then Yawades, a Cobase, when we almost setting. Now, Amade Basso, Yatiasia, Copa America and Rasua, Copa America, Becoso, a Cobaso, we almost setting, no, Nasabia Supreme Court, but two woman Chassi, Omuche, the amount for car, and in Tomoso Maka Emma Jumadin Emma Sotia will be any shaker, Sabeka Sabia, as Supreme Court Takano, and Fanya Jumatin, I will so our came, yet just said about me, I say, now name a genum, a son start here, and so I say. A branch of Fancy Nema, Abasa Kobaka, our brother, Captain Ambantano, and some about Miachi, and my mom for Statesa, Womu and Samno, now Yasoko Prozola, and watch him, you get to make us and watch him in when the majority, and some Patrice Nema, Abasa Captain Prozo, our brother, Copa America, and so Abaso, and some Abasa binding numbers, no, Nema age, and it has a number so red for the Pelemo, and it has Omobaka, and so Yatu games about, and what you go, Sawasha, assist our the goal involvement and the ceremony and all consider when we do about our maturity abanema fam and is our side the captains and bandano and some side the man name and yet say bibi bonnie be abet me aba and yet say be an see some years ago and some never say repeat it and to me about this time name amateur I'm with about some of the captains and bandano and so at the bona we bet me aya jumana ewa brano and some night update to Elba you finish I can say Copa America and some naba euros no and the club but now you are yet the live commentary about first game no and some iron teamer your friend said Turkey woman Italy and about my men for among some of the kakra na Jamaica can say tournament type about swinging no I had so Turkey woman Anna say woman kita the youngest team and so our Euros anymore Euros about swinging on the Turkey woman from Mantiano I had 24 years 352 days, you know, and some matches are squad in the Turkey. And man telling no move, you know, and some out from some new Chumone Chala no Glumo, and just a year Massamin age in a bar, and Korani Diabi, and some number to me to try to come, now matches average age, you know, and some number from two per the youngest teamer, and I a Turkey. Now, I'm only Italy, Ababanya, and some no room, Sad Gamer, and also Abasunum San. Italy for team no na almost campaign babia your fan is Florence mecha Fiorentina for no na Florence one na Italy a national team air campaign no make us say omutu anopano say almost ko Rome omuko Rome from Florence no omanfa car omanfa flight no mum dia mensa kan say a train abracha say train no wo mo den la French e wa bra sa la French no enom na Italy boys na de kwant way aso na wo show Facebook no so no Silver TV and for Silver 98.3 FM Facebook no way aso na e timer akoba say Italy mental ma utumisa de kan say uniform aija juma po bia burn down no black in a black rubber jacket no near kan say bia ashkala na say bia adene kwakwa chese creamy ash me no wo mo so abo amatches no man so I come where are you timer wo mo so cover tron every Florence adia call baby e for say Rome na jaman say kan say wo mo kodru no report am say kan say later and then I make say no ye bon say coach and for say Roberto Mancini and Giorgio Chiellini asom na be kwakotena say wo mo central for the press conference no and some betumi aba so essence ade ba be che ama game abaso I was say o kasam ye hu omo ya fit omo ntimi mo je na wo hware me dia free wo posit number no and chese san komo no nyina no and some betumi aba so our branches and I update and some no free omo so ye and so ade aba our bra sansam no nyina no ye de ema ye te for and some na we our bra twumade no and so gu so ekoso na ma memfanto no our bra ya men second say see am be ka say and some and say his excellency Emmanuel Macron
Silver
I president said my France no president no and some adding a good warm message at the ma I just say France team no make us say a boss one yeto our brother men second say no and some not as a president to say I Justin Timamin coming am famo now president is saying on paper, what did you pass? What the best individuality? Sebia, what come from some team more? Noa Fabia, Mbappe, Noa Fakante, Noa Fabia, goalkeepers, no, Kimpembe mo, Benzema mo, and it's just a boy Saka. President, no, that's what I say. Young Phantom and him say about individuals so country be anywhere. Our Becca Sebia almost so, and some other France, national team no. Now, almost our best individuals in no. The best what can I say? Say, almost to me, and some not qualified. They are quite more individuals and also mo kambom na omo be bako mo be grouper and ebe mama to me stronger so the Ghana for be catch us play we bako na bu wo kambom wo emu sa na mampanyi and some other man France man no and so the man for our brand make us what a good one message no and some other man team as a tournament na shasi ansa mampanyi ne be so trust about individuals there wo mo nyina so no be diaka no and so boys na be kambom no be kwa na mo nyina so no betimi akema president na say you want to just all your the team no are concentrated. That's a concentration no and some now say collectively boys no abeko kema abro pasa so ko kampa and no mai din ke babia ya tun safra Benzema so sambre anka by now and ke ja tomu president say ono monitor no from afar what did come who say no mai koye babia din wa brane what say France man no and some no betimi aye adwuma and also aye just in and I just ever say I was here I just an update. You feel a blue. Almost where and some not about Roberto Mancini. I a coach at Italy. One of some actual open letter. Eddie Aquacoma, just Italy minum. Letter no what make us a can kebia ya bano pa grabes in nka ye nyanka letter no munwe na tintin and the church and say Roberto Mancini say what that Italy mining in say and somebody at Chumani Mano time Italy and to qualify for World Cup ne koba say Italy as I started some more idea you can say reporting when we cast one and the right man on to the basa Chumano and some betimi ya nampany power buyer what baba ya Chumani come every through a deba ye benya covid by no more and some other more minor ebia place libu onuma and you can say from I was so free in Sanama tintin and say omaya ni munipa base 60 million omobesa ombe so proud now play bia watonsa at afran ewabo ekwakwesi akama Italy wa bra Euros ne basubiano o gidie e wasani panebusa and some betimi na famudie and so adia national team no enti Mancini say and about 60 million no I was say for so metimi back omo and I update fina so and some not and area and so our Jumadian so asansam ni nyina no ye te ema ye chese ye tie for an area and some now show no so na jamin say kan say wo ko Belgium yes Belgium national team no pan for say Martinez and Lukaku mo ɛne kyɛ sɛ saa boys aka yi a kyɛ sɛ unity elements mo ne Eden Hazard mo Toby Alderweireld mo ne boys aka no sɛ Heroes a ɔmo hyɛ ase nyame adom ɛtena yi Belgium ɛtumi kɔ ne mo na ɔmo akɔ quarter final na ɔmo akɔ semi final na ɔmo tumi kɔ gye dwumadie no ɛnso ɛde so ɔmo na so a player bi a wosi akan ɛde ma Belgium national team bi abɛ pocket 435,000 euros 435,000 euros no ɛno nso ɛyɛ winning bonus a wɔn nsa bɛtumi aka each player ɛwɔ abɔ ɔmo gye dwumadie no ɛnso ɛde so ɔmo na so na Germany ɛnso abɔ matches ɛbɔ na Oliver Bierhoff deɛ obi adum so ɔyɛ adwuma ɛnso ɛde ma national team no na Oliver Bierhoff fɛ Leon Goretzka ne ho antimi anto ne ntam enti omo opening game eba so no yenim say a big match Germany France anya nkwada game kra eno so yesa our live commentary yebesa tiaba na owura fa no Oliver Bierhoff say ye want to just say Germany and France game no ana branch na ye fa no Leon Goretzka eso ebetimi ambese na omese sa game no ebeko ade atia omane sense wo mu ne modon ba boy no so atimi bo na mom ni nyina achi no wotiri ba se oso mu kom ye sede be ya ne oma nyina so ebetimi akokama ade ma tim na and also update to Eba. Make us say, no, Mamma San Franto, when him ever brought him in second, and some answer His Excellency Emmanuel Macron interview no ban Eba into a tough format. I was some amount Satimika. Now says Yam in second, sir. Emmanuel Macron interview already can be a two to Jano. Mamma Franton says, the Assam and say, on a branch of Fanny and Puppy, said he can be so raw. Jafan Sam, just a pretty true, and you'll be a game at Abasui, Brainum, a Jensen Sanswa, and Obet me our France from Timon. So no reference say Emmanuel Macron president and my France minus say one no and no ma ohuno and man for be ehu saade no na the best work kan nyina say bia wo ka say what the science ya adwuma say bia before science no wo ko game na nkasa mu a ye benya Zidane ye benya reference say Michel Platini na the best work kan nyina so say omo nyina no na omo da top e wa bra wo diri say Zidane e be na from dia Michel Platini and some e be na from dia Adama France man no na mum Mbappe dia wo so diri e ba say boy na amateur wo really age and no ma boy na ye records I was set go king and san man according to His Excellency Emmanuel Macron, what did you about for generation be about so boy way and some iron family and so at the more minor our brand no iron small run and some Nadia Tuja. Now good news Elba and it's Spain. One more contested place, no technical team and no more Makanyina will be tested negative. So the buy and say. Yede betu twasa Busquets akwa konyabi ana saba se Diego Llorente enso akwa konya COVID na jamensa kan se wo mo sa kwa test bi ma abase Diego Llorente aba negative yese bi mo test ne ba kope report jamensa kan se wo mo test na toa so abra sa test na akosoro nyina no enso na se Spain wo mo branch ne for se Diego Llorente wonya bi adika Busquets no wo so asa test negative abra chosa nyame adama se ya ne beko na wo mo sa test emante ne bi amudia and nyame admo tena Friday report to mensa kan say Diego Llorente no enso na betimi aka ho amateur so boys no enso na betimi aye training na and also I update to Eba na report to mensa kan say players o musi akan at Spain national team woman staff no and it's so be o ka obia no woman nyina so contesting for COVID-19 test no omo ye ne enra results e ben area ne say woman nyina aye negative and also good news Eba on say o ma call say ade nti na besine na cheso mo musi akan ma Spain young omo COVID-19 pane ne bi ade nti na besine woman vaccination omo nsan kan ye mensa kan say nyame an botna Friday Spain players no wo bia so about ne pane abra report am mensa kan say wenum aye ne kan say bia 2 dose weno aye Pfizer vaccine no nyame an botna ana jamensa kan so mo nyina no enso na betimi awo omo pane no na coach of the Spain man ba no ye fan Luis Enrique reference Enrique so etena say ena hwei where press conference kakra na coach no bubisa no say wa bra ba say bi manya COVID Busquets make us so that's I isolate no and it say Diego Llorente jane bae amanfo ho poi our camp sansana boys no bi suro and then abaso mo nyina kwa test no wo mo nyina negative apart from player ye fun say Busquets make us say only camp no wo mo nyina so negative na sene siko and also on the obaso kan nyina no say wɔn start wɔn campaign no adeɛ bi a ɛka protocols no a kyɛ sɛ mpanyinfoɔ de ma spray na hyɛ timi bia no yɛn to dwa sɛ wɔn di saa mmara no so mmara bia no bɛka protocols no a spray place no nso ebu so na okɔ campaign nim sɛ boys ɛba se a yɛn ebibu soro kakra san sɛ meka so obi fun sɛ wɔgya ne wife ane ne nkwadaa wɔ fie obi fun sɛ bi ɔne ne girlfriend ɛwɔ ba baako mmienu nti deɛ wɔsɛ ne sɛ bi aso okonya bi ɛbɛha adwen nti yɛn fa to dwa sɛ wɔn ankasa wɔn psychologist asa psychologist no yɛfa no Joaquin Valdez na Joaquin Valdez ane take charge aba ne sɛ ɛnɛma bi ɛti se a Joaquin Valdez no nso ane bɛhwɛ a psychic place no ama ne ma nyinaa nso ayɛ kama Luis Enrique say wɔn ngya Sergio Busquets wɔ fie ɔmo bɛtwɛn no tournament ɔmo kɔ no wɔn ya Busquets sɛ Ramos ama me confirm saa story the same day adema so Busquets abɛyɛ captain ama Spain national team no wɔsɛ boy no wɔyɛ asymptomatic na kyerɛ sɛ wɔnyɛ covid wɔyɛ positive nanso science bia no sɛ bi obi bɛka so ɔnte sent no yɛsɛ ɔno deɛ ɔso ɔte sent ebi obi bɛka so na ayɛ me sɛ malaria no yɛsɛ ɔno deɛ still adeɛ no biribiara te sɛ bia show yɛ na mo test na ɛna ba so ɔno so ɛwɔ adeɛ no bi etu abra akɔ kɔba sɛ player your phone is a Busquets ayɛ asymptomatic one show symptoms no coach ne say you want to just a boy no ho yɛ tournament ne deɛ ɔmo de ne bɛkɔ bi ɔmo bɛtwɛn no ɔno ankasa ɛwɔ gyidie sɛ ayɛ den apane no ɔmo nso ɛbɛtumi awa nyame yɛ adom ɛkyena ɛno nso ɛba so ama ne ɛno nso update ɛbɛsan sɛ wɔde kan to just ɔbɛ prefer sɛ ɔmo bɛwɔ pane no ntɛntɛm ɔmo wɔ ne ntɛntɛm a ɔnso obi wɔn ma wɔwɔ ne pane no wie a yɛ no react obi wɔn ma wɔ na hɛ tintim ayɛ sɛ de osi tia na wɔteɛ hwee show obi wɔn nso awɔ na tena na ɔbɛyare obi wɔn nso ɔbɛka kyerɛ sɛ asɛ ne ho toto no kakra ɛyɛ ne friend of faith obiara sɛ ne body ɛnso mɛsi react to say yɛwɔ ne pane no ana coach ne say ɔbɛbɛ so ɔbɛwɔ ne ntɛm ti sɛ wɔwɔ pane no ntɛm na bia wo show reaction kra akyɛ yɛ bia 2 days no I was say we are available for mu game a ɛno nso no betumi aba so ayɛ sɛ nyame yɛ adebɔ kyena ana kyɛ sɛ mmerantɛ no nyinaa pane no ɛno nso no betumi aba so na mememfa tuo no sɛ Mbappe deɛ mensa ka no so ɔno nso ane France Football Magazine akɔ interview na interview no Jamie said, "Can I say, Nyamiadama Saturday, and an interview in France Football at the Bababontain. Now, Nina say, Obeso making history. Obeso no so try abakosem, and he said, Obetia making history. And just yet, Emma France Football, and some night interview no bar, and senior and some portia, and also our side interview no more. What can so about cover the buy and Kwadan, Eco School. Now, Marcus Radford, Adibatu Jason Kodai. Woman come up for omni voice into Honor Rashford. Wabaya wona all born any mamma come to me do baby. What the cocotti jaswa. Woman is shama me book with answer. Adiania can you know no more temper to an agent. I want to know who be that into also one quadano bros that is why a campaign of a man could dance and Yaniati. Boris Johnson Becassa I and a year much in any be a year. Now I'm on for sound so a man a good Boris Johnson. So Emma Bino Crack at U10 at this council by campaign. Man Quadano and so the Dufilia school from Quadano say Omono Domodisia de a book and a pencil crayon and it just said pen money a day na erasers untimin fan coche Rashford and T John Basomo Yan say Womusukuno Woma Kwakwaya Marcus Rashford Mura they can say be a painting Cassia ana kyese omode da boy na say school ni so omoni bibi bia e ba no sika na tweta womoni bi enti sa pension na kyese womode boy na baso no ana kyese Shadrack Karia to Facebook no so enso adjama e wa bra sansam nyina no ye de ema ye tefo enawie enso na wo show no so de mensa no ana say o say yama to twasa ayade say omoye ne print ni wie no ono ane message and say sankwada yi enso ni kama for omoni voice omoye kyese nkwada da chi bia no mo beba mfaso enti awaso no the voice Adama Safono and Omani printing kama woman some Nasadi Sam message no Adiato Adjama Macatro say England Omu place no Omu Boboy and say na Omu Tekini a campaign Adiata racism na man for Bisu Botutu wouldn't say kick it out Omu so racism so the say can say kick it out and some other football supporters association woman so our Shuki and in the Monte so the Omu can say say omo kobo boy our stadium na England dey bo na players and referee ba ben p no mo tekini na kabasa man for be woo sa supporters aka ne nyina mo mbom nsem a ebeka omo dedene ne sa entutuo na omo boni nyina nso ahye esanse enipa kakra bi na esa de no wo mo no so entse kakra bi ye na mo maka mo to mo nya hwede a ebema yate so omo bo emafo tutuo na mo sasa nipa kakra bi no enso abo tutuo na mo maka nyina so mo ye dede e de ache boys no enso na so mo nkwan a wo bia ni wo a betimi ate se bi adede bi ate sa enso na kwaso amene anu so update eba sansam ni nyina no ye de ema ye tefo anawie enso na wo show no so awa bra no enso ay update eba sansam ni nyina no ye de ema ye tefo ko boxing na o refer say Billy Joe Saunders okay say nani ya de betu dwa say Sawu Canelo Alvarez
Silver Sports
na afede Billy Joe Saunders say when your retirement to crowd beko em za de no agigi woni tirimu na also when your retirement to crowd beko na ne papa ebetumi anya say kase pa so fana de adenum ay 50-50 na jobeso kan say ebetumi ba se papa ne beka so ko ba ko me no bi fa so ono obenya sana nka beba na se ne papa ne ka chense me ba eye fasia odo so no nyina besi no no Billy Joe Saunders no and some let me retire from boxing and so I update eba sansem nyina no ye de am ye to for German second and some na se wurum and so awonia ye fa no so aye tennis maka cho so chena Anna Vajukovic no owura ye fa no se Rafael Nadal amon so ade kan se semi final and so our Roland Garros no no and so na betumi ba so se no pananka be se me ya ade no and so ade man nyina no se wo bianim se ba no se French Open owura fa no se Nadal and kwam aye 13-time champion na onu clay no so no brother king of clay where ne dia mu onti omo bisa Djokovic se be ma usura na no so onu de o gidie so betimi atwa Nadal eno no kwankwa wo bi so atwa Nadal o clay so pen enti onu de ne gidie twa no se ye den a onu so no betimi atwa na o betimi atwa owura ye fa no se Rafael Nadal our brother Djokovic proud to semi final Roland Garros nyame ya no betena eba no Djokovic ekasai.
I'm not the only one who beat him. Robin Soderling beat him as well. But yeah, that's all actually. There's not many players that won against him in this court. Obviously, it's a well-anticipated semi-final. A lot of people talked about that potential matchup, and here we are. You know, we are going to face each other another time. We had some battles over the years in this court. Last year, he just dominated the finals against me. Obviously, different conditions are going to be played. On Friday, then, it was the case in finals of last year, so I'm, you know, hopefully going to be able to also perform at the higher level than I have in the, especially first two sets in the last year's finals. So the quality and the level of tennis that I've been playing in the last 3-4 weeks on clay, Rome, Belgrade, and here is giving me good sensations and feelings ahead of that match. I'm confident. I believe I can win. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
Silver Sports.
And let's have a great battle.
Yes, indeed. I know I am so reference of Djokovic had to a quick one off a young fire says some Brenaswa. My man Fantom said 2020, 2021 NBA Defensive Player of the Year. Omadama Utaja Center and Fanisara to Gobet. Make I pass a cover the bass of Branch and Kanya be NBA anymore. Onona, what Defensive Player of the Season now. The Messiah can say, wait, the third timer. What Defensive Player of the Season? I wanted to say now. So NBA from a bomber Basopana. One test Mantia Makumako 264 Baso Bianua war COVID-19 ya Jenibi na Chesareno answer actually say for the third consecutive week na Chesa 3 times on my test and ya trusting no play Bianua or NBA no Baso no so ya Jena na say San Farosa your friend say COVID Jenibi our brand so update to Evan Bekacho say LeBron James so Baso Sisani jersey number every number 23 and so the number 6 nyame next season no and so and say the new movie or the movie about movie no Space Jam a new legacy yes Ocean number 6 our Sam movie no and unti ana owura be say osesa and so number 23 and so the kwan here can say number 6 and I update eba na Anthony Davis said here dem say can say Anthony Davis number 3 no Bibian can say on sesa no into obekọ so isusa number 3 no e wa bre no and so I update eba sansam ni nyina no ye de ema ye tiefo and ahwei and so I will show no so sam ne de ka so pa but bre ye de adwumanti yem first na fe dia kan nyina no ento aso
Sunset to say so men can just say open baby papa etima dama bianso etima koye so etime jama me pacho no feel live bank benza odo ni chem e Sunset to turn us on more and so to akwa kushana bianso to kama and so to men fanto ni say e freeness fia da dachna dan me men dan e da kwsia da 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. and there say twa live band na me bianso eto akwa kama so etime diama men fanto ni say na baby paka ka oni problem afenzo so there say we can see aba men fanto ni say na water no near to the Massat to say she and so to an pato the attorney say in a operated to satellite television me pato regular price no I na 1,260 Ghana cedis it's a promotion te ya tete so me pato 1,150 and the other say the aba we are also free start dish at the call fee and watching I there's 500 and also 5,500 4K a television with Nessa soundbite and on 5,700 Ghana cedis. Say Yateso, me pacha abundance and then 5,299. And so it was Abena Chadia Buffo. And so to me the coffee and what is 6,500 4K television with Nessa Sambano, me pacha Nanke 8,400. Say Yateso at the about 7,599. And I desene Unyana was sent Nessa free start times. I had Deso Mudiko Danafe dish. And so to me the coffee, Umperina Deso Pede. Me pacha 7,500 4K television or nanke 15,000 Ghana cedis. Me pacha say ateswa the akwa done say 11,299 na se ne yetima sama free air star times e decoder dish and so to am bia so te kama and so to me the manti so mu showrooms no oh boy ramna so akwa jebe na bia so te kama so to me the ma e Kumasi branch no me pacha will doom yane na se ne Best Point Savings and Loans Limited and ya dasa wada ba komo and so Kumasi Dom, number 12 from pen 0546 258047. Nessa no Makasa, me pacha Korea City no, and also Timojaso, me pacha Y&J Company Limited. Omana Kakofaba, me pacha person unya Korea City nibi, Nempo Opeseneno, and Adesonia Wajendi Juma, Ebepwa, Sasonia Desene Yama Memoir, Omanini, and Winfield, Aquananuka Kanati, when Abuamo, now for more strength and so Timagina Kama, and so Timidamama, and not a school for Moka, me pacha Mofanya Musu, and for some Chobosmo, no Biaso Timina Kama, and so sweaty for Mama, a son say, well, I had just said Nubra and now buying a deity on Nabi Biaso, at a Kama, and so sweaty Midama, and to call Neko Pebi Mobo, no Biaso Timko Kama, and sweaty for Ma, Babia, a toy Jobianoka, also Penes, a Korea City Nebe, Nabi Biaso Kama, and sweaty Midamamo, and now Poso Betame, and then SNA, I had just a Y&J Company Limited and penny for, and so to Macasa 0277 345 582 0277 345 582 and I'm posting 0244 614 039 that's one more and so to Casampato I just FD almost the almost tampones yes to say panai I'll be also talk come and sweat me the Mama Fanton start time say men come from Siano I just say you don't know sweat to jar and so to bra never bet you decoder not 51 matches signano me patrona bishana bianso etunya kama sweating fama me patrona and Eddie I was start time sono okutana 75 Ghana cedis ya te price so to bet me and be a match senior and so be sweat to me be sweat to kama and so to me the amount and what you know I had this decoder I had this no nina ya tete so me patro super bouquet no nina na this ya tete so Ebianso, etwa kama, enso timi diama, obetu afrem penifo, enso amachofo enso jimunche mu bebre, enso timi mo 0242 437888 0242 437888 anamposo betu WhatsApp omo, enso timi 0553 511993 0553 511993 neso nomo, enso timi kasa SF International say, min kancho so pesa odi ade, emani will be enso China and now post oji ade so free China and so timba Ghana say omo enade so betu abo no mo dia ba doorstep me pacho mo de ba ofia na bia so to kama and so atumi dia ma na no ti se atutumire kana ma na mo to ebia na onia bi e wa China o person ode nia ma so timi bra o south bia person ode diane and so free Ghana ade kokoma onia no China na bia so ti kokama me pacho furniture mo Santa se run about me pacho ma ye na Malcolm and ade so down ba kuma bra na many metoka say na bia so timi nya kama enso tim fama anampo se ba bia obi a obetu afra na no ye no wadi nkomo 0243 700 682 0243 700 682 na so no mo enso timi akasa Alaska Star Enterprise osimen kan fancha osese no ope original wallpaper snip no so timi mu na bia so timi nya kama enso timi fama na demo no 120 nya kama pa enso timi fama mamen fanto anim say ya desene no wakra bi e free Germany, Canada, Spain, USA, France, Italy, South Africa, Denmark, and Sweden. Nano, Wakabi, they free ho. Until I never do original wallpaper sebe. Me part of footballers no, and after football loving fans no. My men come from say team be support biano. You on wallpapers, you on the design be. And so to my bano baba jibia me bianso. And to come and so to media mo. My men fan to him send what the blankets no. Me part of colors no. Any design thing no. What the brain so to me about. And to bray no matter. Kasa na so jibi kofi ne no demo enso timi nya fe e ba ne sana me pacho ma me ne ba enya fe na ofri demo akọ me kamfo demo restaurant South so banking house ana fe na Desa hotels ni nya no monko no monko kwagemo de enso fe for the 3D airports no ana fe ne chemicals ne be ni design ne so di bia ba anju se ne wo ko na so kwagye South 5D ana fe edi nya no okọ na so kwagye be me pacho Kumasi Adum ana Desa chi akwan no eno so etimo me pacho ne boss FM and the enshane mo ya ben Prudential Banker me bia so etimi akokama enso etimi dia ma eno achi nkran no ya wona circle ya no circle mo ne di nhwane mo obeto afra Alaska Star Enterprise e wa matofo iso 0554 114 878 0554 114 878 so no mo enso so etimi aboko na bia so etimi aye
wo me da so ba time da se pa se wo dia ba be na afi ye te eye kakra de afri so ye boabo enwana ya establish contact na afi ne eye yankasa German football expert based in Germany so din komo Rafael Hogestein na afi ne so we Mike na bibia e find here
fancy bibia e boko Rafael so bano then it means that in komo aye bedi no be kosro
okay
or a German football expert.
That's right.
Born in Munich but he's lived in London since 1993.
Wow.
He's covered extensively German football. Within a few days on a Manonoya interview prior to the Euros. So if you want to know anything about Manon
Silver Sports,
definitely is the man to go to. He will share with you the insight, everything that Manonoya a catcher no or the better jadi amaye for your best answer in commodity for the Bundesliga neho 2020-2021 Bundesliga season was exciting and my who talent because the Bundesliga keeps giving birth to several talents. Chelsea nyane die in Kai Havertz, Timo Werner played pivotal roles on Mama Chelsea it made the Champions League and then aside that Rani didn't come about the Austrian national team a German manager in Franco Foda. And then Franco Foda and so as most of the Austrian squad on Monday by Euro 2020 the Bundesliga nim never. So Rafael Baswa, he will take us through all these things. He will walk us through German football and what it means for the German national team Diamannschaft. Wabro Mobile Euro 2020. So in Komono ebe to Tom and Chebia and Rafael Abaso. Wabaso Oko holidays. He reported for work I think this week. Rafael, if you hear us, good afternoon. Welcome to Silver FM in Ghana, Kumasi to be precise.
Good afternoon, guys. How are you?
We are doing well, and we trust you're also doing well.
Doing absolutely fine, thank you. I'm off to Munich tomorrow, and looking forward to covering the Euros.
Wonderful. We wish you the best in your coverage of the tournament. But first of all, let's start with this. We had an interesting season in the German Bundesliga, and there were so many managerial changes. Dortmund lost their manager. Borussia Mönchengladbach confirmed that Marco Rose will be moving there. And then also so many managerial changes happening. RB Leipzig and then Bayern Munich. Tell us, in covering the Bundesliga and everything that happened, one major thing had to do with Julian Nagelsmann moving from Leipzig to Bayern Munich. Tell us exactly what you think of this particular deal.
Well, as you said, it was a very strange season in the Bundesliga because so many clubs changed managers and it was a domino effect. After every club changing, then another club needed to change and the domino stones kept on falling. But of course, the biggest one of all was Julian Nagelsmann going to Bayern, which was only necessary because Hansi Flick was leaving Bayern, which was only, not only, but partly a fact or a consequence of Joachim Löw leaving the Germany job. So everything is connected in German football. Julian Nagelsmann was the manager that Bayern felt was the best young German manager on the market. Of course, they love Jürgen Klopp. They also came very close to appointing Thomas Tuchel not long ago. But Nagelsmann, being from a city very close to Munich, being a Bayern fan growing up, being, really the most exciting young manager coming through inside the Bundesliga, he was always the number one choice. And a lot of people seem to think that actually the Bundesliga will be even more one-sided now because Flick was very good, but Nagelsmann might actually be slightly better even. And you combine that with the amazing firepower that Bayern have as a squad, and it's not looking that promising for all the competition.
Well, Ralph, so considering the investment that Bayern Munich made on this new manager, that is Julian Nagelsmann and his entire coaching staff, how soon should Bayern expect, him kicking the grounds running and winning those top titles for Bayern Munich once again?
Well, winning the championship is almost a given. It's almost seen as the bare minimum. You cannot be a Bayern manager and survive unless you win the championship. Very few managers have done. The last one to do so was Jupp Heynckes in 2012, and he even came close to getting, if not fired, but certainly resigning after 2012, the Champions League final against Chelsea, you'll remember. So that's a must. And he'll be then judged on what Bayern do in the Champions League, as other managers have been throughout this decade. And, he's already managed to take Leipzig into the semi-final. Bayern are a better side. Bayern have come close recently, of course, the year before they won it. And there is a belief, there's a hope that he will help players individually improve and collectively. One thing he's got going for himself is that the feedback from those who's worked with him, for example, Serge Gnabry, who really credits him for working with him and improving his career a lot when he was with him at Hoffenheim a few years ago. Or Niklas Süle, who played for him, they all rave about him. They all see him as a manager who really helps add that little bit of extra finesse, that 5 or 10% that even as a player you might actually not be aware of. How to move, how to position to yourself, when to make decisions. Nagelsmann is very good at that. He's great at communicating these things. So there's a lot of optimism in Munich that he will not just keep the level that Bayern have been at in the last couple of years, but maybe even improve. But of course, that is also contingent on what happens in the transfer market. And I think here there's less optimism in Munich at the moment because of the financial implications of the coronavirus crisis.
Interesting insight, Ralph. But let's talk about this. We've seen Tuchel at Chelsea, the transformation at Chelsea, eventually crowning it with a UEFA Champions League win. And then we've seen Klopp, what he's done with the Liverpool setup. Nagelsmann, also a manager in high demand. At a point in time, there were talks he was moving to Real Madrid and all that. What is it about the German managers? It seems they're on top now. So what actually are they doing right to rise to the apex of the game in European football?
Silver Sports.
Well, I think there's a couple of things at play here. First of all, there's a bit of a bandwagon effect because Jürgen Klopp is doing so well, then other people want their Jürgen Klopp, then Thomas Tuchel is doing well, so more and more German managers become popular, become wanted. But there is, of course, something in the way that they work, I think, that lends itself to successful clubs. Two things, really. One is they tend to be very adaptable. They tend to work in structures where there is somebody above them. So they're not managers all powerful like a Sir Alex Ferguson who don't accept compromise, who want everything their way. They work within a structure. They will understand when people say to them, look, we don't have the budget to make signings. They see themselves as coaches rather than managers. And that is very appealing to a lot of clubs who don't necessarily want to cede all the control to somebody who wants all the control. The second thing is that coming from the Bundesliga, where money isn't unlimited, where the emphasis is not so much on buying the next big player, but making the next big player, trying to develop players. Again, that is something that's tremendously appealing to clubs. If you come to a club and do what Jurgen Klopp has done, without spending a lot of money in net terms, in gross terms they have, but this is money that they generated by selling somebody like Coutinho for lots of money, for example. That is very, very interesting to clubs. They want players, they want managers who improve players, who add value to the squad rather than always ask for the next big signing, for strengthening. And I think that way of working that German coaches are used to, are known for, an emphasis on coaching, on tactics, on individual improvement, that is something that a lot of clubs find very, very interesting. And you see from what Tuchel has done, from what Klopp has done, that they're very good at it.
Well, Rolf, we've seen Hansi Flick taking over when Bayern Munich parted ways with their former coach, that is Niko Kovac, and Flick coming in went on to win the league, as you rightly said in the beginning, went on to Europe, eventually winning treble. Do you see the new manager, Julian Nagelsmann, taking this very same team to Europe and, repeating the same feat as they won treble under their former coach, Hansi Flick?
Silver Sports. Silver Sports.
I think Bayern are good enough to win the treble under Julian Nagelsmann. The question I have, and I alluded to this earlier, is whether the squad is still good enough. I mean, Bayern won the Champions League title with Thiago, with Perisic on the bench, with Coutinho on the bench. Now you look at the Bayern bench and you find Buona Sarr, you find Marco Rocca. It's not quite the same team, and they might lose more players. Alaba is going. You might even see Coman going this summer. And whether they have the money to strengthen as much, I'm not so sure. Yes, Dayo Upamecano is coming in. He is a fantastic player for the defense. But up front, especially in those wing positions, things are getting a little bit slim and thin. So I wouldn't necessarily point the finger at Nagelsmann if Bayern fall short, but it will be difficult, I think, to keep the
Silver Sports.
Bayern haven't been able to strengthen last year, and they might not be able to strengthen this year either.
Well, we're still in the middle of our conversation with a colleague, a friend, and a journalist, German football expert, that is Raphael Hogestein in UK. Ralph, let's shift our attentions more and talk about two exciting talents in the Bundesliga right now. I mean, Jadon Sancho of Dortmund and his teammate, that is Erling Braut Haaland. Do you see these guys moving, or do you see either of them moving in this summer's transfer market?
I think there's a very good chance that Jadon Sancho will move in the summer. It's no secret that Manchester United tried to buy him last summer. They couldn't agree a deal with Dortmund. I think this year Dortmund's fee is still quite big, but perhaps more reasonable for Man United. And I think Man United still want Jadon Sancho very much and see him as a key player potentially for a new Man United, or for this Man United that started to re-establish itself in the better positions in the table to keep growing. And, I don't know if ultimately United say, okay, here's the money. Nobody knows, not even the Dortmund. But I think the indications are that there is a chance that this will happen this summer. Erling Haaland, I think it's less likely, because the money that Dortmund would want to change their mind about him staying is so astronomical. We're talking about probably 200 million euros here, that I think it will be beyond most clubs, and even those clubs who can afford it. There's no given that the player wants to do it, because next year the player can leave for a lot less. He can leave for a release fee that's in his contract for 75 million euros. It's not the official figure, but most people accept that it's in that ballpark. And of course, if you can leave for less money as a player, that means bigger wages, that means bigger sign-on fees, that means more choice. Whereas this year, maybe your only choice is, let's say, for argument's sake, Manchester City and Chelsea, maybe PSG, three clubs who have money. Very few other clubs have. Next year, things could be very different. Next year, Real Madrid might be back in the market. Barcelona might be back in the market. More English clubs might be in the market. So I think for that reason, and the fees involved, it's more likely that we see Erling Haaland leave next summer.
Well, so with the asking price, or I mean, with regards to Erling Haaland, with the asking price that Dortmund are demanding, is it a strategy? Tell us to move clubs away from coming here, or to push the interest that these clubs have in the player, so that the player can stay beyond this season.
Silver Sports.
Well, the way Dortmund see it, I think this year is they want to price him out of the market. This is not a fee that they have declared in order to get bids in. It's more a hands-off type of figure. No one is beyond any say. If somebody were to come in with absolutely crazy money, Dortmund will have to consider it, because they're a PLC and they're obliged to consider that for legal reasons alone. But they believe that they've put up a figure that is going to be so prohibitive that it will help them keep Erling Haaland for another season. For next season, it's very different. For next season, they have to accept the fact that there's a release clause. It's not something that they wanted. It's something that Erling Haaland's agent, Mino Raiola,
Silver Sports. Silver Sports. Silver Sports.
The clubs tempting before Dortmund signed them, that they had no choice but to accept this release fee. And it's one of the reasons why, incidentally, Man United, who were also interested in the player before he signed for Dortmund when he was still at Salzburg, found it difficult to do the deal because they wouldn't accept such a release fee, which then makes it easy for him to leave. So everything is really set up, I think, for a big auction and a big transfer saga for next summer. I'd be surprised if he goes this year. It's not impossible, but it's unlikely, as I said.
So we are live with Raphael Honigstein. He's Munich-born German football journalist. He's based in London, and we are having a conversation about German football, Euro 2020, and related issues concerning European football in general. Now, Ralph, let's talk about the German national team and their preparations for Euro 2020. There's not been much more expectation on Die Mannschaft to deliver the ultimate. They've won the competition 3 times already. But you quickly look at the team and the results before this tournament. Do you think we can really place much hopes on Germany going to the final to perhaps annexing the trophy?
I'm not very optimistic. I don't think many people in Germany are very optimistic. As you said, the performances, the results have been very uneven. Some very poor games, including a 6-0 defeat by Spain in November. And the sense that this team hasn't really found itself. Now, of course, Germany have a history of going into tournaments in a bit of a crisis and worries and doubts, and then suddenly, as if by magic, things kind of happen. And it's not impossible that it's going to go down that way again, because player by player, this is a pretty good team. They have enough quality individually, just collectively they've been so poor. I sense that there is not a lot of belief and trust, certainly in the public, in the decisions of Joachim Löw after his botched attempts, I would say, to build a new Germany after the World Cup. He's tried a lot of back, cap in hand, and ask Thomas Müller and Mats Hummels to come back after he had jettisoned them in March 2019, shows you that his ideas haven't really worked out. Combined with the fact that we have very, very strong opponents in the first 2 games in France and Portugal, I think it's difficult to be overly optimistic about this Germany team. There is enough quality there for the team to surprise people positively, but there's also a big worry that it could be a very bad tournament once more.
Certainly looks like a test of their mentality, perhaps, from what you are saying. So how tough do you think they are psychologically to fight all these expectations lowered on them, and then perhaps try to surprise many by putting up a sterling performance at the Euros and maybe annexing the trophy? Ali.
Well, if you look at the players involved, the mentality should be very strong. There are 7 Bayern players who've won the Champions League. If you include Serge Gnabry, there are players who've just won the Champions League with Chelsea. There's Toni Kroos, there's Gündoğan, who's just won his 3rd title in the Premier League with City. So the mentality should not be a problem. I think the problem is, do they believe in themselves as a team? Do they believe that collectively they have got what it takes, tactically that they are happy? Are they happy with each other in terms of the harmony, the togetherness, things that were sort of missing in 2018 and I think in the intervening years haven't really necessarily come back? These are the big questions that need to be answered. I've done an interview with Joshua Kimmich that's going to be out in The Athletic very soon, where he talks about all these things. And you sense a tremendous amount of optimism and confidence, but at the same time also realization that it's not going to be straightforward recreating that type of mentality that a lot of these players live with on a daily basis at club level when it comes to the national team after all the problems that the national team have had in recent years.
I read your piece with Neuer in The Athletic, and from what he said, and from your interview with Kimmich, which is yet to be published, what sense of mood you draw from the German camp? What kind of mood are they in?
Silver 98.3 FM.
Silver.
Actually, they're more optimistic and they're more confident that you perhaps than you perhaps would think from the outside looking in. Now, that could just be a reflection of the people that you talk to, that, you know, Manuel Neuer is naturally very confident. Thomas Müller is naturally very confident. Joshua Kimmich is a winner and he believes in himself. Whether that's representative of the whole squad collectively thinking, I'm not so sure, because I think there are still one or two question marks about the way the team plays, the way that they have lined up. There's a big debate in Germany at the moment about where Joshua Kimmich will play. Will he play in midfield, which of course is best position, or will he have to go and play out on the right side because there's no one else at the moment, which would then weaken the center again. So a lot of small details still to be resolved, and I think it's going to be a very edgy affair. If they can get a draw against France or maybe somehow sneak a win, we suddenly talk about a lot of momentum and things maybe clicking, and suddenly Germany will be one of the favorites to win the competition. But if they lose that first game, which is again easily possible, then I think there's a chance that the whole thing will fall apart because of all the residual doubts and problems that have existed and haven't really been solved since the World Cup. And I'm talking mostly about tactical situations, but also one or two personnel situations where Germany don't have strong solutions. So it's very, very difficult to decide just how good or bad this Germany will be. And I think maybe inside the squad, despite the confidence that the players have in themselves, maybe they're not so sure about that either.
Well, you've mentioned Germany being favourite for this tournament. The tournament starts that is tomorrow. Well, apart from Germany being mentioned as tournament favourite, which other countries do you see lifting, or which other countries do you think they stand tall or stand a greater chance of lifting the Euros?
Silver Sports.
Well, I don't think Germany are favourites. I think Germany might be seen as favourites if they get a result against France, and that's a big if. But as of now, I think France are, I'm not telling you a big secret here, are seen as the best team. They have the biggest depth. They've won the World Cup. The only thing that can stop France is probably France itself. If for whatever reason they fall out with each other, they're not happy. And there are one or two indications maybe that there is not the biggest of harmony up front with Giroud and Mbappe and maybe Benzema, but we have to wait and see if that actually is substantiated or just a bit of gossip. That doesn't matter. France have the best team, no doubt. After that, I see Belgium as a very strong side. I really like Spain as well. I think they're being underrated. I think Italy had a decent route into the latter stages because of the way that the draw works. And England, I think, must be mentioned. So between those sides, I think we'll see the full semi-finalists and we'll see the winner. I wouldn't include Germany in that. I hope that I'm wrong, but I don't think I am.
Well, you've talked about the teams. Let's talk about the players. After all, players make teams. There are exciting talents coming up, stars as well, who will grace the competition. Robert Lewandowski from the German Bundesliga plays for Bayern Munich. We have Harry Kane from England, plays for Tottenham Hotspur. Cristiano Ronaldo will be at this particular competition. Which players do you think will star at the Euro 2020?
Silver Sports.
Well, I'm looking at Romelu Lukaku of Belgium. I think he's going to have a fantastic tournament. The Belgians are a good side. He's really made a huge step up since moving to Italy and playing at Inter. He plays with more confidence, plays with more presence. I think it could well be his tournament, especially if Belgium goes deep into this competition. I really like Ferran Torres. I think he might be one of the stars for Spain in this competition. Even somebody like Wout Weghorst, who plays for Wolfsburg, but has a good chance of playing for the Dutch. And the Dutch, maybe not good enough to win the tournament, but they have a very easy group, or relatively easy group. So we could easily see him scoring quite a few goals. I think Kevin De Bruyne, if he recovers from his knock, will be a key player. There are a lot of really good players involved, but I think as far as winning the title is concerned, I think I would still stick with France, and then automatically you're talking about Kylian Mbappe because he is France's best player. And if France win the competition, then again, I think he'll be seen as the best player of the tournament. So maybe not quite, an underdog or a secret or an outsider to name, but I think he will also be absolutely key in this tournament.
Weghorst, who plays for Wolfsburg in the German Bundesliga. What kind of a striker is he? You've monitored him from close range. What kind of a striker is he? And then slotting into the Dutch setup under Frank de Boer, how do you expect him to also dazzle at the competition?
Well, Weghorst is a classic number 9. Tall, strong, doesn't take many touches, doesn't really link up with the play very much, but he is there in the box where you need him to be when the crosses come in, when the balls come in. So a bit of a throwback almost, but really, really strong player, wonderful movement, and supported by a lot of good players around him. I didn't catch the second one. What was the second one you wanted?
I was saying how he will slot into the Dutch setup under Frank de Boer, and then, maybe dazzle at the tournament.
Yeah, we'll have to see if he plays as the single striker, or maybe he'll play alongside another striker, which the Dutch have tried out as well. As I said, the group is fairly straightforward for them. I think there's a chance that we will see them adapting a slightly more attacking lineup with maybe him and players around him. We have the likes of Promes and Depay and Frankie de Jong. There's a lot of really good creative players behind him, next to him, so he should get a lot of good service. And I expect him to have a big impact for this team, even though as a team they're probably not quite good enough to go all the way.
Well, Ralph, before we take a leave of you, let's go back to the German national team. We've already mentioned the red call-up that has been given to the central defender, that is Matamos, and the attacker in the shape of Thomas Müller. What exactly would these players add up to the German national team?
Well, Thomas Müller brings a lot of experience, a lot of energy, a lot of leadership, lots of running, intelligence, everything you want, especially in a team that is perhaps a little bit light when it comes to having organization up front. He was now in Corona times so audible in his commands, in his leadership. His nickname is Radio Müller because he's on broadcast all the time. And you need that type of player. And Löw felt that he wanted younger players, and of course he introduced the likes of Havertz and Werner, and Gnabry has a bigger role to play. But he, I think, realized that the kind of leadership that Müller provides, the intelligence, the motivation as well, is something that this team can really do with. Because Löw himself is not necessarily that type of guy who screams a lot. He's fairly softly spoken. He's quite technical. So I think to have somebody like Müller on the pitch, and Hummels, who's similar but in a different position, helps this team. And of course, they've played well enough also to warrant it in footballing terms. I think Mats Hummels might not be the quickest of players, but you put him next to Toni Rüdiger and maybe somebody else, and I think he will look very, very good. And the same goes for Müller. He doesn't necessarily help you play on the counter-attack, but if he can link up the play, if he can orchestrate the pressing, which is another thing that Germany haven't really done well recently, then I think a lot is to be gained. And I think Löw also wants them to be coaches in the dressing room, if you will, to help others stay on course, to help others who might need a bit of leadership, might need a bit of instructions. These guys have done it. They've seen it all. They've won the World Cup. They've won Champions Leagues, with the exception of Hummels. But there is enough there to say better to have them than to leave them out.
Okay, so there are viewers on our Facebook page who are watching the interview. They've been pouring in some of their questions. Permit me to ask one. He's asking, you've spoken about Thomas Müller, Mats Hummels, and what they bring to the German setup. How about Toni Kroos and how key he can be for the German team? You mentioned the absence of Kimmich in the middle when he's put at the right back position. Will somehow leave much more of a space, will affect the German midfield. How will Toni Kroos play a role in making sure Germany can play from the middle and get whatever results that they want?
Well, he's a key player. I mean, if Toni Kroos plays well, then Germany have a chance of playing well. And if he doesn't, or if he feels too exposed without Kimmich in the middle, or maybe it doesn't quite work out with him and Ilkay Gündoğan as a partnership, then Germany will be in huge trouble. So absolutely key figure for this team. There's no doubt about that. Kroos needs to be very, very good, and perhaps he needs to be good at something that's not necessarily his game, which is to play without the ball, because certainly against France, I expect Germany to be, I wouldn't say defensive, but pragmatic. And that means giving up the ball and having to work really, really hard, especially in the middle. And that's something that doesn't always come natural to Toni Kroos, or shall we say it's not his strongest game naturally. And that's something that we'll really need to see from him and the players around him if Germany are to stand a chance. So absolutely key position for him.
Okay, so there is this guy that over here people troll on social media. I'm talking about Chelsea's Timo Werner. Will do almost everything, but when it has to do with scoring the chances that are created, Werner mostly fluffs them. Timo Werner and this Euro 2020 tournament. Do you think it is a tournament that he needs to prove to the world that he's a good goal scorer?
Well, I mean, if you're Timo Werner or if you're any goal scorer, you need to prove it to yourself every single time. I don't think there's anything special about this tournament for him to prove that. But I think he might not get so many options or opportunities, I should say, because right now it looks more like Serge Gnabry will be preferred to him, maybe alongside Kai Havertz and Thomas Müller. And I think Werner and Sané will more likely be not on the pitch for the first game. I might be wrong, because of course his pace on the counter-attack is the best thing you can really want against France. But I think it looks as if Löw trusts others more a little bit at the moment. So that doesn't help Timo Werner. It doesn't help his reputation. So I'm just going to
Silver Sports
turn it off. But it's the reality of tournament football, where you cannot afford to have one bad game. At club football, you have a bad game or you're not quite in form. Coach will persist with you, and after 2 or 3 games, you're back in form. Club football, if your coach doesn't think you're quite at it at the moment, or you trust somebody else, then you won't play. And I think Werner will get game time, but maybe not as much as he wanted, and maybe he is in danger of losing his starting position at the moment.
Well, we understand Leon Goretzka resumed training for the first time after his injury, and he's missing the France game. As Rally said, it's a crucial game. That is the opener in that group. How is this going to affect, the German national team doing away with the services, or doing away without the services of that midfielder Goretzka?
Well, he's a big miss for Germany, because he's been so good, especially next to Joshua Kimmich. He's a perfect complement to Kimmich, because he plays a lot more like a box-to-box player, and Kimmich can hold a bit more, slightly more strategic player. He scores goals. He is strong in the air, defensively and in attack. So really, really big player for Germany. I think we'll hopefully see him in action for Portugal, but France has come too early after his injury. on the one hand, it helps Löw make those decisions, because I think it's difficult for him to work out what his best midfield pairing or the best midfield three are if Goretzka is around, because really you don't want to leave out anyone out of Kimmich, Kroos, Gundogan and Goretzka. Now, with Goretzka not being there, it makes it slightly easier for him to make the right decision, or to make a decision in any case. But of course, he would have loved to have him, especially if, maybe Germany are chasing the game and have to change a little bit for a slightly more attacking lineup. He'd be the perfect player to change the dynamics in midfield from a slightly more controlled, possession-based approach that Kroos and Gundogan stand for, to a slightly more attacking, box-to-box kind of approach that Goretzka plays so well. But they'll have to do that without him against France.
Okay, so Ralph, we want to thank you for your time with us this afternoon. It's been insightful speaking to you about German football, particularly the German national team. Hopefully, as the tournament proceeds, we'll get in touch once again. So have a wonderful time in Munich. Enjoy yourself. Have a wonderful coverage as well, and keep doing what you're doing. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
All right.
Silver Sports.
Auntie Rafael Hoggerstein. Ana yenina kwa kwiwe enso ewo Ireland no so obeko Munich nyame admo ochina.
Yeah.
No so ochima ye pa.
Ochina so be pia Joshua Kimmich interview ne so dia
atum.
Wa chia no ne manono ya so kasaye. And the yene ne kase wa koye COVID test. Say obetu kwan sa na e was all tested. Into wa COVID test. No, or a COVID test, and I think by 1:30 into where we now we're 2 coins so the Germany a cover tournament. Nature say, you know, be say didn't come on any players near close. Into to me can't their band players no where you want into wonderful conversation. You're burning in out of us say Germany team need that's one shed in na Germany krona nkasa omo nhye dan nkasa de bebre in
France game no
exactly o say so mutu me enya be draw bi and omo de chef France for any kakra bi a na ndie bi a omani na de omo every akoshe Germany mu so metima bibi but so far
don't for Germany
omo melo
tournament favorite
but obo din obo France say the number 1 team so metima agi Euros no say France so ba budget Mbappe so be di agro be kom te say konfa no che no na obo Belgium. Say Belgium so be yet me aya wawade kakra. And o say a branch reference Romelu Lukaku. Amanfo ani nse den ne ho but who ne say tournament we die Lukaku betimi a kire bibi because he's coming on the back of say wenya a good tournament with Inter Milan or the Inter J a year Scudetto no onya assist double figures or she goes double figures and to Lukaku so betimi aya wawade and no ball Spain but Spain dey mu sheda anya drusa no ball England no England so mu sheda anya drusa no the Netherlands so ball nkomo kakra fa o say branch na dey bia me bono
Vujuegos
exactly or say or you play a beer, he's a typical number 9. Now, what that setup name see a born as a lone striker bet me abo. Yeah, the name ball Memphis the price will bet me abo. But or share him sa branch any bet my BBD, but on Dindi, Netherlands national team no, a bet me ako when ma kwaya wan wade and also yan komo kakra also or the 2 ja area fan ho. And also Joachim Löw. Yeah, man, Juma no anye.
Yeah.
So I say a botched attempt to rebuild Germany.
So fan crofo count just a premature retirement now
exactly.
Mama
there's a one can rebuild now NCP NCTA
as when Jeff foot na fe bua kam na asa kwa ko frem ko do mama
and then in sema
I want to Lukaku there
yeah Lukaku
and Ferran Torres so
Ferran Torres
so ye hwede na
so obetini ayebi but once remember ball Lewandowski Ronaldo Harry Kane
yeah wo ka kase
fun there
because free kick na Ronaldo baby oboto ye ne there bra
Shadrack wo free kick no fan to screen Ronaldo
Barca supporters no KT rank mo no mo maka no so at least I hit a crossbar
was Andrew Nyumbre near countdown
yeah
and Ronaldo boss free kick until okay tinya the video ni to nam dem junior say on your fan to screen so na dia dey na Ronaldo ye You see, and Tibia Casafo no more said a good tournament. But
Mammy King messages crab about Facebook, no, media de Bia Yara, and to say Bia or Ronaldo freaking Kini. How mass one I just say on number.
Now go Jabba Bruno Fernandez and boy.
Already in the Kelly on Benny Bordo. What na Braf Kyle Max Minim on Facebook no Benyana be a message will be what top I made in Mirama na Ranaka Krebinaba and Braf Kyle I say thanks for asking Silver's person and Faye Johnny Guys to say at the best sport show in Ghana Faye Citizen Collins and so Facebook I say thank you Silver Sports for this wonderful interview. I'm watching you live from Sewa Junction. She said Darby interfere or Sewa Junction reception until technicians know what my Faye was say you guys are too much. Wale best and Wale best today sir. Message we no media no society about fast ye ko break ne ba and ye nigesem and ye nigesem so wutie ya mo ani nje ochina ye be cha de bebre wuni mare krontia bet to 85 years so bet to mfie no de exactly into ochina bet at 5 ye ba ma be chirechirem but ochina de obeye ne say Betway so or charge or the Brabedi dance here. If it is a 5 years now, Betway di Juma, Ewa Ghana Hano. What is your best moment? Moment Ben Chess when you are Japan, best moment, moment and Kamidi 1.6 million Ghana cedis. Anna jackpot no teams me and Sabina a year or hinted actually. Na me and Sano Kwayasano. Ghana come 50 Ghana to me correct the NTM jackpot near they say the corner me and sans no more day 1,002 something you have 2. I'm let's go with you Kufus my say fast oh me massa now to be 11 number bantama. Maybe you music I just had every idea. Almost so I mistake the bank here. Oh, and to be 11. Bantama so they are much of crowd be here.
1,002 the chair.
Me sans say Bram says economy wow. And a PS no so see them on so bet to physical.
PS no.
PS4 no so 2 years ago bet to physical.
PS. Bet to physical.
Ana oh fu the bet you to total fu bebre. Hey na beta. Ya ka se muntwa mo se
stories ne doors into ko break ne ba ye be this dance ne dia fa bet way
twumwa wo ye be ko break na ba quick ba before we Shakers man Tembele say fancy everyone is saying France will win the Euros but I don't see them winning a true I don't see them winning it, although they have the best of squad. I see them getting eliminated in the semi-finals. Sports Center on 798.3 will always set the pace for others to follow. Sports Center to the world. And by Hatch Black Caribbean says the best sports show is on. Francine Maria and the crew every day with different vibes. Greetings to the Royal Salmon or Dubai. A free farmer skin so say 100% Jesus in all our endeavors, and we believe strongly and firmly that through Christ everything is possible because he makes the impossible possible. Greetings to Prosper and Anama Procure of Tabia Herbal or Dubai. Good afternoon, Fancy. The show is loud and clear inside of Jama. France will win the Euros based on the following: technique, game intelligence, physical fitness, proper mindset, tactical knowledge, and risk assessment. Match love Silver Sports. No, they buy a brand to buy a success. I say, we give you nothing but the best. And I just say, Okona Soye, was Patrick Suit collectioner. And also, to buy a special say, it does not matter how many times you knock down, but how many times you get a fancy more fire. We move, react to the game. Let's go no to buy it. Yaba breaking up a banner fee. Yaba mo message. Africa can now so to trum now today
we have code
baby I fine
and I say am for afio pa
na me ko hin
some Monday ni ni nyina o yantonka Monday now ni
Monday awia na mama ba me ba no pa
na me cast yantonka awia na yese tonka anya no pa
na free Tuesday ba na so
free Tuesday ba na bia kama ti nya wa dun say euro no ko yakobo ase aba na awia na ehia Monday ako baby ate
wo ko na ko lusu o ma adwuma
lusu dia na ya mo o ba unya asem bia anka What I say? We need the answers or the vim.
Oh, okay.
Supporters.
Well, Maxwell, Brian, you're quick now, you're breaking him right now. You're running a to us, and we're still live on Silver. What maximum? So be a fine day.
I'm out of find out tomorrow today.
It was Ulu's way up.
Silver 98.3 FM.
About for birthday.
Oh, yes.
So it's a very special. I
show no different on page.
Yes, of course.
Radio no question in a man and Obeso to me. The free was Happy birthday, Bafo.
And in there, Jollof and I fry Rana Munyanya.
Oh, Yenya,
but for the days,
very special.
Very special.
And can you bad cry?
And another one in the basket. Yeah, gradually. Yeah, me, I was following everything. I was saying, Bibia Dana Queens, yes, Oberqua bad, no problem. Say, Chumdo, Ambassador, by Yawa. Colleague, ne has no cotton, ne pre top, or Tia Mobia,
and two Genema,
make Genema, said her baby, or morning can answer.
Okay,
let me ask him a tear, some no, but Tijuan, no, see you once,
and then as about the band, they purely cotton matters, and they are foot you being nice. Many
you better break numbers to see a banner.
Silver 98.3 FM.
Enti Cristiano Ronaldo and in my Portugal ebetimia sanji afi Euro crew wanana fi wene na share Euro 2020 akensi live ewo age this war wabra Europe football ekukudam this year ni tia 75 cities nenya kwenya 51 matches nina. 11th of June, Akwanye Mwashemranti Bitise, Erling Haaland, Cristiano Ronaldo, Harry Kane, Kylian Mbappe, and Robert Lewandowski. Rabejo Star Times decoder says Nia Kabo Munyabakwasem. Star Times, enjoy digital life.
Sunset Hotel has the best of accommodation, air-conditioned rooms to make your stay a memorable one. Sunset Hotel has introduced a live band session every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 5 p.m. right till 10 p.m., which comes with a massive discount on our food, especially on our local dishes like fufu with a bunobuno going for 20 Ghana cedis. Imagine how much the others will go for. The quality and the quantity hasn't changed. We only want to satisfy our customers and make the place lively during weekends, and it starts from 12 noon till 12 midnight. Sunset Hotel Live Band, there is nothing like it. Let's meet this and every weekend for your weekend's relaxation. Free swimming for ladies from 3 p.m. till 10 p.m. this and every Friday. We are located at Cedar Crescent at Denyami. All COVID-19 protocols will be strictly observed to ensure your safety. Call us on 0207 228 455.
Silver 98.3 FM.
Oh, yenye na fe yemrana yemetu aso e ba na fe yasamba na oba time rana oba time boy yemrum kakra Mike
enti asana oba time be ba na say na make kind of fancy Betway the 5 years more operations in Ghana enti Betway Ghana celebrating 5 years now you can Betway yenim say online sporting website and as online sporting or a bookmaker but Betway the no a transcended just providing market no akocha bet was wenyeska. Betway has become much more of a source of hope. And our face was sound so a day a year inspiration be upbreed the youth in terms of impacting them. Intimate the betting experience but it is about the corporate social responsibility initiatives of Moye. Now the CSR project are Betway. Once that Nancy Betway up Hong Kong. Omode Steven Apia ne chips amoba Kumase Eko Opokuare Inisube training amount for football ebe training basketball ebe training yama the necessary knowledge we are asanso amount nyoma obrebe share se opese obo basketball opese obo footballer odebeki kan ho na bibia so akoye di amount. Aside that, Betway has several initiatives. There is a Betway Care. Amount for Adrian Bebrenshadamba, so they've been donating to charity. Once England, Oko share the community shield now. But I tie England community shield no, much more of a charity March sika be free mu aba no ye donate to a chosen charity house and as organization. Betway add tap into this initiative and my about community shield no sika bi ombenya from community shield bet no or more donated to an identifiable charity organization. Sadie will must start here 2019-2020. They keep doing this. That one aside, once a COVID-19 buy and a buying at the photo be to now man for donatis kawum to support government's fight against COVID-19. Betway the 150,000 Ghana cedis and no donated to this particular fund. And to watch CSR projects or more it means that aside taking money from people to bet, now OTS cannot double an amp amount. They also use some of these monies for purposes impacting society, which is positive. And no idea a maminya that kind of affinity with organization friends a Betway. Ochina enti the be say wa o pese udia dance na Betway chawade no. O de ye betnasi ochina ye be ma akonya no no afre o frɛ ye pɛ na wa hyɛ wo Betway testimony wodi adanse no na Betway sanso ɛkyɛ onioma enso de aka into obi antam kutwu o te so ochina ya ba pɛ Betway at 5 now also have our phone no afre and you share your testimony
and so the mobile na no mo hye ase
say Betway ese adwuma ye bɔ wa ha no they believe in it, they trust it enti wo mo de say initiative we have say your listeners no and so more choma dear so
me da se panja fedie em say me na sa to ntima me nko peska kakra me ba na ma ba betu asuska na hu hia pa because menum bia me ta bo so onim sa anyum no aka 2 days na bo so me aso ma ya je ye pe happy
Enti Cristiano Ronaldo and in my Portugal betimi asanji afi Euro crew anana fi wene na share Euro 2020 against you live our HD so wa bra Europe football kukudam this year ni to 75 cities nenya kwanya share 51 matches nina Efiti 11th of June akwanya bi wa hwemrantie bi ti say Erling Haaland, Cristiano Ronaldo, Harry Kane, Kylian Mbappe and Robert Lewandowski. Rabejo Star Times decoder says see ni kambo munya bakwase. Star Times, enjoy digital life.
Sunset Hotel has the best of accommodation, air-conditioned rooms to make your stay a memorable one. Sunset Hotel has introduced a live band session every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 5 p.m. right till 10 p.m., which comes with a massive discount on our food, especially on our local dishes like fufu with a buno going for 20 Ghana cedis. Imagine how much the others will go for. The quality and the quantity hasn't changed. We only want to satisfy our customers and make the place lively during weekends, and it starts from 12 noon till 12 midnight. Sunset Hotel Live Band, there is nothing like it. Let's meet this and every weekend for your weekend's relaxation. Free swimming for ladies from 3 p.m. till 10 p.m. this and every Friday. We are located at Cedar Crescent at Denyame. All COVID-19 protocols will be strictly observed to ensure your safety. Call us on 0207 228 455.
Hisense akane hu bio Hisense fridge promo 58th May akopim 8th June Hisense fridge promo for Hisense showroom bia ya tete so mamu say fridge that be how anasa we here fridge foforo e ma opportunity wey ensa ho da Hisense fridge na F4 eche papa and chip power e kwalo so die on the low and the 5 years manufacturer defect warranty. So Hisense fridge papay never grow niema. Kai say 18th May, I got him 8th June. Hisense fridge promo. Hisense everyday prices for everyday people.
Korean ginseng tea, promudin tea. Yama honam yaw, enkokrafo ane mrewafo. Woma mu yare a omo ho to wo. Ene omo mu ko school a omo sua de. ɛyɛ apɔmuden tea a amanfoɔ agye atom wɔ resɛfe no nyinaa sɛ wopɛ sɛ wohwɛ sɛ na apɔmuden tea no bɛyɛ adwuma ma wa kɔ so a ne nom ɛtifɔn frɛ YNG Company Limited wɔ 0277 555 582 anaa 0244 614 039 Korean ginseng tea apɔmuden tea FDA ahwehwɛ saa adwadeɛ nkratoɔ mu agye atom sɛ ɛyɛ.
Penchesi ya debo danso papa enhwe ba bia for wani kire FNT Manufacturing Company Limited omo a eno omo yo omo nchensi wo omo factory ewo Kumasi ha enti wo omo nko abo da form sini wo bia ewo krom ha enchensi a wo ye bi ni MSL IBR and standard alu zinc roofing sheets you want a short and long span kala bia openo kire ye ne be ya mountain so ye nchensi de ensini o enimpa broni besie quality your metal ne alu zinc trusses odi good down so ansan no de nchensi aboso odi na de ati apo na aye enyi na ache yesa ye wooden framework na wooden nchensi boso a edan no begina afebo FNT Manufacturing Company Limited wanim di fo beso so wodan no ahwe ho akotwa no factory abababo wodan so ama na ye fefefefef ye Kumasi de chemso ofru buachi dankwa eko airport runabout no unifon so ho a ana frɛ 0574 000203 and 0574 000102 Opep quality roofing sheets
Better when your friend a bank. You Trust Savings and Loans Limited. Would you may say Yabroso and Bank of Ghana mo to me what ye Jumasa banks a papa kind of pepe. See what do you know? You Trust Savings and Loans Limited. And now one my bedroom your 4 instant loans. No 1 year in your bedroom so HGB. Was it a current account, savings account, savings, import finance, asset finance, SME loan, salary loan, and collect account. And need the account only being na minimum. What's your brain? Yes, but you track it, the maka na mejo what she say is to come one head office was kwa makioni nchengwa can you spread FM chipe and grabata we doom a life echi STC taxi rank ho obuase Bosman bus stop sunyani techi mantamale get coast start riding and ni Ghana mantam ha bebia me share reach the BM wo memu ha from 10322039876 and 0209994994 so you Truck Savings and Loans Limited save money live better.
The responsible way. No under 18. Betway. Bet your way. Yenina ya football fans papa. Naso sports afu from you ho ameni ji hu ye. Ti say tennis any basketball. Ni ji semni say Betway mobile any online sports betting and the sports casino games, bet games and any kika hu bebre. Abom platform no so obetimi atwa ho bets. Every football, roulette, e-sports, kosi horse racing so. Say obetimi abet e wini ajusi ka amunu ho ahye wo mobile money so ana ye de befa EFT so at bank account mo. Call www.betway.com and ya na you agro kaina Betway nyansemo uni fie do nwotwe a entwabi Betway agudie no hodontra Gaming Commission of Ghana sa shase
say the zoom na the lions or na zoom lion
Silver Sports.
Whoa, you're back here to us live on 98.3. What about China? We have find it.
Yeah, come on, China.
Okay, I know what in the session. The from Sakwalapa.
3 days ago in Chile.
David.
What's danger diabolic?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Guardian, the minister and Guardian to so.
David Drama one a boy now. Oh,
Silver Sports.
Drama one a boy now. And then go for a boy in our house.
So,
yeah, you know, both for half. You got
in a both for boy. I'm going to. Well, Fernand Chum say, oh, I send you a best work and 2 years. Now I invite you to now for Chum the National Banietiro.
Now, Kulum Ghana Limited, Semen Country Biase or the Hunchu capsules now, and also to me, Eddie Abeja, so the Mamano, me part of prostate problems, Bia, just say how Biano, Copebi no Biase, Timia Kama, and so if I watch, you know, I just say Biao Johnson, I just say now, Muyo Ya, Sa, Nadia, and what is so Johnson, now they say, no, and then man said, and so team from Mami Pacho, the Atari say, oh, Cocopo, two castles, maybe, at your Baba Biasa, come and say to me, the amount. Sounds so any idea, Sabia, oh, the no Johnson Tentem, me Pacho, Wabra, any Quasa Johnson, Sasa Johnson, Sassian, Soko Coca, who took us to Sabetimaco, and sweat to me, the Tia, sweat to me, the amount. Mame Fanton, Mr. and my one, me Pacho, Araba, Zen personal, I am Modia San Samudiana, a one man, a bosom and a swan, on which and a bosom and a so, and I dare say, be an Ediana, Mojana bucket mampole back coco sa nya dia me pacha nana was a ban and some maya copy araba bazan person benum a bit abaye ama bia so to akọ come and sweat me dia ma and what mana mo da honoma ye so mukra na se mo winter no me pacha ne come na teko me pacha na se we no o te se bi du foche no na se we bia dan so mpa sabi ni ada so te me pacha ani kwasa sa no ba won so dia na ma me pacha ne copy araba bazan person benum na bia so tinya come and sweat from Mr. Kono draw a member draw no sweating wajaso kono no be totobe bibi abeko ye sweat me diama esa ye me booster me pacha besa boa na fene se untimi nche wo mpema ya de so beta dia agro no mpema na tima che ye enso me bia sweat kama enso timi diama and ye say no we nya no aye kulum Ghana limited na diaba enti ko ba bia to bia akwa also penese untun ka so sasa arba bazan personal and of Mr. Kono be pebe Amaso, a better mobile bianso, a come so at media mall, better from 0244, the patch 275 429 no Macasa, Bra Kennedy, of a Kennedy Sebra. Now, more never bianso to me come and from now for Kennedy say send what my plans is Papa Pano, and also to media bedraso, Kennedy get a satellite SM, and a desa maker, what the 19 inches to 65 inches, a television at the bar, both smart and curve, me patcho na copebe, no bianso to me come and from me patoma mo follow Facebook no bo se Bra Kennedy nurse na na dwata ande de no na de say twego so to and watch no or the French come pass to me about air conditions home theaters no or all sizes sebe so to me about for 4 pound machine no me patcho so pebe I just say bia who use so fie anampo say bia o de yokobo no anya 1 city 2 city be there 2 bottom or perpetual na light there ni nya no ba ha so be kabe so machines no I just say boy I catch a washing machine no so wa so ofie anampo say adese na no o de boy juma pesca go bottom ni nya no kwa ora Kennedy be popcorn machines no both nurse and gas and electric no or the bin sweat ba laptops and the men can find us or the dual core me part i3 i5 Samsung i7 with a touch screen ni nya na bi on ma e no ko na bia so check come and sweat me dem me part adese ba juma phone muntie ni ma me modia no batu no ora Kennedy akọ no mo to akọ yesese na sese na mo be ni me part no I guess mama kati afa control and counter general no obeto aboane se na 2 city kakra na eba no watene pa eba kura wonwu se yate ebeto aboane se bibia no enso to akoye so atimi de ma wa bra na so kwakota de enso to ora Kennedy digital satellite services ta bia so eto akoye so atimi de ma onfan tu ga onfan se na no Kumasi branches no na desa ba ko e wa dum ye ben boss FM me patcha family plaza abansu no ma and desa first floor sasta patase adon aswa and desa first floor and that's why Ben Police Depot no Kennedy Junction 0207 653 031 0207 653 031 0244 385 128 yes or no more and so to Kasa and crying me part of wager old barrier Ben traffic light no over from 0243 074 750 027 0243 074 750 and 0244 385 136 that's no more and sweat up on come me pachenko pesca our Utah Savings and Loss Limited ye no mo fritete esan say adwuma mabo and so Ghana for jomatum sans and obia sweat jomatum me patch over 20 years ne and ya desi ababa sommo e wo sikasem e nei and ya desi abadwuma for ejibosia e wo yakate sans wadwan for and so ejibosia sweat yakate me patch adwadi foi me mumra na majibosia and then ya desi interest and sweat for sans and abadwuma for no mumra majenese bosia interest on straight one form no your first deposit sasta current account savings account affiliated by letter sisu account no ebo ya kata fake kidi account no but baby ema akwada no sesi kamania pa Utah Savings and Loss Limited adamufua enutia branches so Ghana for agia tumiti okotamala ya baby ho sunyan me pato tachima Cape Coast koko memle kaswa me pato ko fodua wa takra de seshi akimoda na fe Kumasi dum enu so bi ho no na head office no enso Kumasi Asqua ye be Makiona neno adese East Cantonment on pharmacy na chirope and adese Kumasi 0309 994 994 0309 994 994 neso no mo enso to akasa na bianso etoko kama so timi dia ma yenkodi di ewo na se TC akache ene time and chances fast food a ban of fried rice so any adese no adese jollof fried with chicken ni na TC so to mo be no bianso to akwa so timi dia ma me pacha ye wedding engagement outdooring any adese your birthday party be any adese woodia and any adese time and chances fast food adese beto akwa place order ne no mo so timi dia ba so no me bianso to akwa kama so timi dia ma me pacha obosiki eto aja to mo boss no wonu ato aja to ma me pacha ne so bianso eto aja to mo enso Kumase antifoni chem e okronom me pacha main station one ma sasna chem for stores no mo e watafo e adese one mo ne mo betumi na TC eto akasa wa matofo so 0249 030 830 na so no eno so etuma akasa yemfia ni chem na asa from the enterprise na yankonkwaje fridge papa enso to ho na bia so tunya kama so ti fama o to azani e chawaze o na sa Frenzy Enterprise me pa chokwaje o table top fridge no enso to na kache nenya free kettle eno chi double door fridge no big size no o to no nya adese ne yes set of free kettle amadi coffee television set no me pa cha adese 32 40 42 50 na ya tete prices no so me pa 50% discount etimia kan se sewing machine and then Fidia na de pamade no and also etima kan no anti furniture mo run na Frenzy Enterprise no so etima no esan se na kettle rice cooker iron blenders sauce adese fan no all types in yabe enso to na kache me patro na Frenzy say wadwere wonti furniture mo e wona kache wo Roman Hill me patro do one ma ora na one ma obo adwuma 0247 766289 0247 766289 na so no mo enso to bon komo post in your no no sweating with just into and then no sado e booster da bia me catch us sado enya fe na mbe cheche yade bia wo so odi ane so benom no guna anopa awia anwumere te se nsuo na bia so etoko kama sweating da ma bua na ko ade atia na se yade bia person no so kutesa say immune booster wo system no be cha boss na say yade bia no akon sweating de che be ton bibidro ana fe be ton dro bia no okwa so propose ni dro obetonya bia no na bia so etoko kama sweating da ma 0248 099-964 na so no more enso tima kasa me pacha Active Point Dental Clinic say enen wo se no said ya wo se ne besia wo pese ye bia no eno so be try na kama enso timi ediama me pacha e bia wo de na tutu ana wo pa bi enso tima sisi a ye wo bia de besisi ni kama enso timi diama wo so de no e bia wo de na enya gire na enso wo se ne gabo dem no eta hani hamle me pacha ko na na ye 20 sisi enso timi fa na bia so etimi nya kama enso timi fa ma ye wo adokotafo a eno mako akwadore enso to asimo a asinwo adwuma de e ba ne say nya bibia enso to akokama enso timi de ama tine no ko Active Point Dental Clinic enso denyame ye ne na sene no adese ben Ultimate Radio ana fabusa FM ne no o sen ade bia no mo so nye enso so 18 fama o betra from penifo e wa ma to for 0554 571 779 0554 571 779 na no mo enso atimi akasa na bia so eto kama enso atimi dam asabe travel and to say akwanto ne de ono ene ade sesesi ano o headmaster anka ayekwa mu no wanko ayekwa master me patron na de moko na bia so eto kama so atimi dey san say e ba no flight reservation me patron timi yebe sanso na ade say uni passport okọ na katro no say yebe enso atimi de ma me patron birth certificate de yetine say te enso to ya kache me fanto no say bia business certificate na ade say opa ene asabe travel and to obetene kama enso atimi de ma obi pese okosua ade anaso kosku enso atimi abroche baby bia pese okosua ade no eno enso de woka ye do kama bia enso to kama enso atimi de ma emprempren me patro ye pe adrava for edo mako Dubai ene Qatar no mako admesa say juan de da ho unya as many as 4,000 Ghana cedis plus a month into to ade na ade say wo ye me patro furniture mo e was about travel and tour na patro no mo eni komo no fa wura mo enso Qatar ne kokonya adwuma ye se na bia so betra ba bebu fie na fie so adwobrɛ enso atima ba Kumasi Bantima Silver FM yɛkyerɛ na de so mo a ene omudi omutuma 0241 971313 0241 971313 na fe 03220 01826 so no mo enso so etia bon komna bia so etimi aye kama enso etimo
mate me da se twum na ho ye
na me admo ya
oh okay no so nkomo bi o
oh some commodity bia league ya
Silver Sports Silver Sports
so yanka ho asema nema betimi aha dwene bebre dia mai
den
bi build o mu team asundwe efam kama ya sa asema ye kan de bia we eyani yare enye yefun yare olibo komodo akokan bia am ya ka chance afre no committee abra ye nyina anim se refi bi akodi house match a yem bande no kro no abepa achew nti olibo komodo ekoka asem na se afre no committee na Ghana fo nyina ehu se ye nsem wi ena ye den ekoso etu ko kan wasem a efa house nko aho ese e bande wo ya yati hana efene sen Olympics ebo match a eni pe ebo afaso olitimi ema house boys ese yenti ya cholete e de akwa akoma Olympics se on ma kire kwan mo fa so emanipa ebusu Accra Sports Stadium abrana kotoko eni aduana stars akobo enipa ebu afaso na edikan senka mo cholete be ya tro Olympics ye na jahas aja aduana de no so acha se eti uye club na ne house bonautia house na so kakra bi pe we are refu we are club we be twon aso esi wo bo ase
okay
the view match na refu no your bande no rest of the season asa twa no so next season cry out it is say there
Silver Sports
ekwa bia so efefo no pese house for AJ league no it is only house ball that's all say house points are bia ambafa so mbetwa aso bi ambafa so atwa aso na ne asema meka a kire kodoko old players ni bi se omunyina nsua mpanifo ambobo mu din na da kire adwuma to ho a yen supporters na ya tena team no mu a kire besi samrin obi amo wan yeden engu om so ya duru de bi emu odin a enke here board members no kwa say even po training grounds ko betimi akono makwa say yen players ni nkran on betimi motivate wo mo
members na bi ma training grounds
oh yeah one what be da
Silver Sports
was na ahwe oka da na esi ebeka to say board members no onyo modwumade so mbedi bo achi aja say oba be sia akwa timi di team na chie kodoma me threaten no people na baso
so or a member
why a board member but your ba on your ba omo
yeah
member kase no mo makoma ko 11 no do do say na this season what record matches etini abaso body na ekwa ma Johnny Malik coach ene George Kennedy abosobo kese pa ana me de massa ampanifo mienu we say none of
Silver Sports
coach training grounds share boys ni wie after the training omo chi omo tina ho as old players Johnny as a coach as a former management member and the players ni tina who say sakotoko no ye se players ni kran ye kasa from no more experience sa players when penfo we omo di catch players no more experience omo nyokotoko ma ye betimi agi league no eko two players ni fo akom fa so mbo omo league e kire player bia asa se coach ni no coach ni so mo respect omo so aye sa adwuma we ni ehia no kotokom anya time ya duru we ana abesore se me George Asare me 1990 eti kotoko bia team bia ya duru ne ka ehu abom ni akwachi bibi di aba mudi nsem bi be pia bonten ye ko obo ase ba ye bia metom se George Asare 1990 asem na sa ababetom ye to sa de na twene yo crucial matches 1990 on tie ma wiei no tie nie time no obokotoko no wonim ye mu bi ne ye ka ho wonim politics ana okotokom mpo obese jesia onim George Asare obese jesia onim motimi afi kotokoma akọ bom degree akọ yem coaching course na maba esemba neutral
Silver Sports
modem hu ba kotoko politics ma bra na wo bakwa mo politics room aya football na me ma omo very careful yede mo sase o junior team po na mo ba o ana mo dem akọ doni political trend bi o football mu omo hweye na kotoko na sunti na me kai omo so tamaro mbo kotoko no then management ana ho impoko tie Celestina omo ni politics ana okotokodim omo upcoming coaches se koroko supporters aba do omo a omo njai sa niema na omo ye no na omo fanche omo nimu a omo konko bu sa coach Michael say Dr. Kwame Checha no fam na be sinne ni sika kran ma no wa mo wa wan ka hwe ya na officer coach we na sabonya appointment kotokoma supporter be so retia no coach ma so crowd obi an kwan a current management nyina support o pam no but na ga ni ya wona akoma mu bedroom na bi no tie supporters asem supporters leaders na ne tena ase kasa mo gitum se mo ba ma supporters here bibia mo be kan bia management ka bia ma jatum ja won gitum ene ma odi ato on gitum kesa na odi akọ committee no corridor etimu to as a junior coaches amoba na mo so be politics ba bia team se legal duro e pe league achi ni nyina adwene be ba ko club no ya supporto na bibia timi aba no mo de mo akọ join train bi na mo ya politics dia mo nya very careful aya futuo na mdima 1990 aya futuo na mdima George Asare mpodo omo bono no mnim je otim nim etum so mo visa adwuma we no mde omo adwuma so mbe coaches no ma boa mo future ne ma koyi a omo mbo modin se do omo ye bia omo fanto nche sika de so na so nye sika osom kotokoni ya sa sika ya mo de kotoko koyi am pesa mo twe kotoko san aduru time crucial ye nyina ani abre ne ha so the same points a league ni mo ide no anam ko for search issue dia ba obi o so mo tu ya mo kan tro mo say ba bia duru de mo mie league no ba bia na internet obi ameka che oni masem ameka George Asare ba for time Jerry Asare mo time company akum time mo ni politics ana o tim nim che se mo dem ho ba wuram mo pesa mo twitim ni sign mo nya very careful mo hweye na your supporters na near time at that time na near so team nim yanko e ti awasama me pesa me ka kire sa two players we no old players we no mo trade dot Kennedy and coach Malik aye omo nko bu sa coach Michael say omo ba back to maso kunadu on dia dia ncha ye kra no mo come mambra from
nti say
no mo ntra so mo old players
o ye diwa man in demand ana
ya makasa mu nyina say e crucial time ya so study a George Asare any 99 issue be sorry bia na kotoko ya winning match a ye fi say ye nyina be timi nya nkabom ni ade bo so mo dia ba be wuram a mo fi say ma bobo ni bi munim dia obo nim eye sika ba nya sika after the season mo be timi atenase na mo management akasa venya radio issue wenya ma representative we na ma ye ti ma fra no atenwa kire no we na wa ye ti ma fra no atenwa kire no na every week bia league ekoso a ye fi se be ma management na nya asomdue no mtim dia ye bibi ade ama ye supporters na ma ye ni age no ye dia dia na 3 points since I know mo baba ani edu o ma ti support o mo no ye supporters ye dia na 3 points it is the same supporters na also see and time management 3 players na so mo nya the same 3 points e che ba sere o mo ya se so obache se has ni bonte asore obache has old management members oba sore obo kasa omo hwe kon mo fo so a has club no ebetimi asaje league bi no mo je league na che omo nyina aka omo abom etika mo ma bobo ni bi da mo nim de omo no ese mo nyina mo make sure se bi bia ho bia mo de beto so kan wa se mi no so yo onyema ye abra supporters any abri say na so so beto to Jaba Park no so a yaw you obi eso be ka kire omo by na dey football na me ma sa old players we e ya football tire ma example mienu say nanopa dey Johnny coach Malik and George Kennedy akwa your training grounds no old players ni na follow young supporters you follow board members you follow you making sure that tawo bi o any management in term bibi o be club ni supporters here dia o it is the man say dia ni mu na so be dia ni mu mu na medin ba nyam na medin ba mu na o ma ba mi ajo ma tum mu be yi o ma konya o to se akonya afiri ho ama ye supporters ni asofo dia yaw anya dia be pene
okay
yaw anya dia be pene
mate
it is futuo we anya di mo me free na ye koi obi o isu bi o ka kotoko abusua no bia on fan to nchan ni e kire ye hwe ye league na se etimi ante league na sankofo ye no be di no nyonyo
a traitor na say dey
me to say me 3 points
da bi na asma kan so
ye no be di no ukra position da bi ukra position ye so we make sure say ye be come out position free unsa support the team ya no you be come also position free unsa anya threat so obi kobu obi anya threat so obi kotutu obi anya threat so obi koju obi kofu dabi by the end say one me san carry 3 points one me and the trophy na any has a pre ho now the sense some people twa na mu a
okay
so you old player and as a management member and a board member who sign pa kro no you be make sure say ekwa bia so adwuma be free unsa na the office one je hu no akwa akokoye
mate
because has one ya break den ya a league ekwa bia so person mo ye Olympics ancient management members no go for kudo fiano olubo komodo mo ahulewu chombers akrom do mako some ko 3 points now to so be kontokwa
Silver Sports.
o to so be kontokwa
mate me dasi
ya mo hweye ne ya abre Monday ya ka kire supporters ya match no anya match that form Interlife wo ko fo ne ko se mre bi otema ya ba nya accident adwendwene mo bia me kan kire sa match na afo yan wuram to say the Euro has match nim yan wuram to say the Euro has goal
okay
Israel supporters matches na kan yaw and that form kra it's a football way any periphobia dia na makọ training grounds any coach Michael Samu niam om ye maso kra dumo anu se ba bia duro crucial the supporters aka na aja tum sa papa na ntenetene to jasare so om ye na dia asomdue ba na ewie ya beta omachi na kwa bia so omfa so a omsika ombenya sare be akina bi akwanya bi beda ho a yesu ata omachi omatima didwuma no
mate
ame kono unim say me pe politics o panimu bi wo a me pe politics ba panimu bi wo a masua na hwe na since obenya position 1 pp omo general secretary John Bodu ya me penasem papa bi obi a me chia na wie ya papa no asem si a kon be fa so be tonsu aguso ya se akasa o radio so aduru ba bi a ayesa anko na yeso hwehwe ye hwe mpanifo no om kasa no mbo ne mo om ye ani bibi omu ye bia ni yeso apiki bibi afri sa panu we baby obi John Bodu be chia na wie
yeah, now for council light no more engine so. And we are very
important.
Yes, honor the on the major because we are very bad. So the vim near light. So uko baby a glass and kwa. And fancy. The tennis say you want from him. Fancy also the tennis say yeah, a crime be so me any chuma yadini. Also, 70 be a sidoma. And one thing, cross 40% normal see and Vanipa Eco Park na bro, sa 25% no. So washa. But I so be an carry. Aben momon carry. FSO carry security service and carry. Me wa mo aben mo na mo ahye. Je say emra na mo akasa mo ahye mo ntumi ndi so. Into omunye free won obi ahwe ne bo. Me so what ma say na say like the Olympics say 25 meaning is 25% still is in force me boy.
Yeah.
Now, as no Olympic supporters are winning 25%.
So almost full stadium now. Yes. By now, say some supporters also chifa.
Exactly. Koto Konsoni, your friend say Adriana. So we. The reality is say when these teams sorry no more 25 juma. That is the reality. Unless say security service now enforce, I'm more enforce 25% in the MFA. Because hearts are started ba. Accra ni we obi apaso ko hwe ni team no house ni ye ken
Olympics so
ba ma share your friends ice gold obo ase okay ye kwa aduana ye nkɔhwe
any house ni koto ko na dey say take it sold out
yeah this
ya bi ko akoda ho anopa e be huru akoda ho
all say teams we no ye winipa gum ye winipa no nya house no kotoko ni ansa na wadwen team foforo into our team foforo bia ko ne kotoko ne heart no into numbers no mukuta no edin. It also security service mom making sure somebody the right measures to play. But to me then you. I hope you understand the point. Security service nanga abino crown on was emrana. Emran one by no abina security service in your one. It is something Ghana police for meeting and go possible. Wait more ways to me at the end of my to me. Nipo Moko Park. Here is a 25 penny be Munjina Gate, a CSC, ticket say, club and penny for Mamudi team, we are in discipline. Sabi, security service also a in discipline, because a government a in discipline. 80 yeah. Oh, Kasa.
When him say your match is able, do home and a security to do a pair.
Yes.
I don't know
to me na
police because you match na scan e benyano anu bi ne on ebetwa moka to call for police match officer over for police for 10 no go for police for 8 the sick officer ni sika nyina
but the internet
so
security na kasa problem because security we do with intelligence and sana match and be say security for my intelligence and match we this is how it's going to do so we approach it this way
ya kotokoni house I'm say committee need report by
Ghana
ubenya national security ubenya BNI ubenya soldier for ubenya police kotokoni house ba security men about almost 400
yeah 400 because you are categorizing as a match into one and nini nyina hwe the only thing I mean who say house there na we are ban say on say Ghana bibia ko center Accra Kumasi menim say wuti dia mechona entire ko hinterlands ne kakra attention nko ho but mom bad because people in your friend is said Doma Ghanaians omo Accra Ghanaians so we need to protect everybody into honda menene ya adwene say sa nipa na ekomo no sa ban ne sa hwebiem so hwe na obetu egu ontungu ne enko hwebo ontungu dia security service no ye force no enforce law no menim say what asia
say home teams no asede
enyo mo asede ye de on say nyankopɔ ko
ni see so say government no so na say bia
say aban na say mra no
Mr President ye ne say ene sa na che dia or also be provide extra security personnel.
Exactly say yes
out of various states
yes
because clubs in the free say o matena fiache every time so msunye sika kakra it aren't no be born matches na any pamra na say sika no fa mehwe security personnel in 10 years it's a 10 crore annual request it will we na sika kakra na obenya na ya or the ma security for na officer woko ana esi asa dem aso eka no koroko ne ha so asori eji say heart bomb match a obenya koroko supporters so wa hwe ball ni bi on be house against koroko bomb match a obenya ha supporters a supporters na ya bo no ubenya obi so mo so akwa against me nka ntwa ne bob wase Sunday ya na yakotoko home pa ye nyankofo bi a almost by 20 sabi se be mo din sanhunu asa bu ya supporters ni bi ade e bu aye ne say ne management no ay arrangement for soldiers by 20 ya match ni cost no obo ase ye bo by 2025 na sana soldier for ne ba omo ba ye diploma sign mu nyina nkofo ne nyina hwem bia ira
Ghana for
anya sanka de be si obo ase nimpo one supporter ya pai na ni achi
kotoko
VIP kotoko ne has go because of say omo se ref no bo na odi ne nye ana omo ye de na kotoko supporter ba ko kasa na ba osore se obo na ba ko so ye be ma bo no no kotoko supporter na sum doko kan ne de bo abo no me de pra se nye soldier for na pie ho ana ye adun say ye fa so police for be 20 ana 30 pe bia en kameka tro ya enema sai obo ase Sunday ye ba ya da ne ID ne en kan ho asem ba we ba ne atwa atum because ne ye de kan ka say ebo ase na ye kono say afọ say home njembe se bibia be si ani as gold ntem ye be se bibia be si ani as gold supporters ntem eti na me ya kan anu
na be don so mo me say na e bia ha supporters
ani na me kan no say e through time say ya match bi o ne wa Accra obunya koroko supporters a omko against house unso me di kan ana abenya house bo match a obenya koroko supporters so fi say ese ko support Olympics for na as for drop point I don't know one hwe ya no one brief security na betimi akofa nsama ba and it's na me border supreme
very tight
Sunday ni say apart from police for no bia na ne ai for no don ba mo sade soldier for ya den esa kan na nka soldier for na me kan wa ya be kan na check aboase poor match Sunday no ka de be si ho nye opose ne ne ebohum
anti security na see a beef in it up na ye hwe say nyoma because who say May 9 10 years be penny and 20 years be penny and yes your big other game wa Accra no so crucial to say May 9 there na and nyoma sisi nkitwa ni na point to that direction it's Olympics na has there na go for bull gate no a reminder it's then a security service na air to ketele sometimes a good say we aba say be a bit to me there other ye ho so na yatumi aka bia no
say bia na omo so full say clubs na dey 20
because ball na ye ball fancy ball say sports ye say bia ye free ha na bibi ma ye be ya ball ye be ball say yesu aba meaning say what they make it say obi show obi credit is not the end but it should be done on a fair manner near we say we cost secondly I think say kodokofo ade bi omo ye omo so omo nya abotre also ye ka obia ni obehwese ebesisi team bia wa but them say kodoko complaints ya do so ya kwa say league no omo suro so omo nje nti omo anje na omo de ahye obi clearly because when kodoko started mbacha wutie so omo boa house na omo na that top
okay
chume boa na mo that top
and almost starting on mobile house or mobile. It's more loose focus. Banka team mukuta pane di enkabana ese moko. That is the reality. Here as good musho mo boase. This season away games baby or ye impreg aye deno kono breaki. First round but this one nobody ever believe gonna be as go losing 2 matches. Yes.
Nema mum believe no na ma hwe ye 2 matches e da ya nim. Has baby t got 2 points no mun na ma calculate na maso na ka ho bi.
Exactly.
Na mun say aduana be share as good be share na ka has score 5 points. Ya nim hia wa akra na ye share has score na mudi 2 ageli.
There be has the money share.
But this season the league na ye bono obia of form.
Exactly.
Team Pia of form.
It should me feel say as a team in the team.
Yeah, cannot say.
Kotokwanye te. Obi antumi si kotokwa Ghana.
Referee ko di match we no na be patch.
There be te kotokwa so matches.
Wani ni ye.
Referee so di.
Omo touch ma dey ball so has say ya referee.
Has for na nkasa so. Omo lose points because of their referees. Is it true or not? Now Olympics their ball na say na referee na ngine. What was a house for so aba say ebimu pese kotokwa na jele. Nti ese mu jai sa de no. Because what ye or sitting
a company interview him next year. So I want to work as
all over radio in Ghana.
No.
There be Sanyoma way beyond a year, matches. I Sanyoma way been a year, Yama May 9th, Sabai. May 9th is a May ball story. I say, House of Folk themselves, and so like Omo Lusu crucial points are because of this same system. Olympics there was an example. Have you had to focus after Omni Olympics? What is it? They are all over radio fighting everybody, Anna. Yes, on back, but the stage not say. Can you on back? But and no, dear, can. What's the American? The advice for Kotokwane say Ghana, you always see a more players than born national team. Blasters, you got to keep up for players here for Yamo. Now, but Ghana League now, Usu. League no Kotokoda say. Kotokoda say. Just 1 week. Just 1 week. Has a result. Not Kotokonya results. No more not top. No more say about that. Now has some got top of that.
Yeah,
I was some moment when you call.
Do I require bo? It's a easy so much make us
good. It was some moment when you call matches.
Fair. Me can't trust a referee. You could hear match. The first match. This season is the second time we do got a match. We do got 2 matches. The first match of Brekum. Any Brekum Chelsea. Any former coach Master Chronicles or respective coach Repa. Or Kasawi Adiachana, appointment ref coach, appointment I find ref, a babon to make a cabbage master. It says a comment said a Master Chronicles, no advising ref, my ref is to me on there. The same thing could happen of watching the same referee. It is such referee, you can't watch some. Who's me and Blemu referee?
Okay. Whoa,
clubs singing in okay, clubs singing in a their house, never got more Yanibia. Where you be quahi. And I'm on a moyen penny for some media and say, more serious or more matches in the moon.
What, my family cross is 0552 944922 0552 944922. You say you've been your first caller. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
I'm sorry, Dai.
Fancy di Maua.
Ebony.
Correct.
Yes, you.
I say, I'm telling you, I can't get my mobile and order for such a good call and for the when I saw my chairman, I want that women so much. I be a top of that in Piano. Kaka make any answer, oh, has in here, very shady for Kaka, you have a pair on Gramaminia and Canazamwa, or so, no. Mother, Uba, you maybe not your a 20 hour them. But a Muslim Paul. Let's say Muslim Paul penalty of a virus for them. I don't know where you are. What to go down our wood. We are hard to have about what thing that is never was the other. You may a match, paper, and the I'm going to be a upon Kadamay. Let us be.
Why that's the infant nest. Hello. Hello. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes, I'm
Abu Yetio.
The battle, as I talk to your 2 hours, Kazakatan. Or Casado, Are. On your Olympic has this year, left is Roman Omakwa this year. Yamuna. Omukwahi, or you take he go jam. Omanje. The same to Ashanti Good, Fanatom Gita. I don't know Monka. ya kasa kyerɛ nso ɔma nɔɔma mma fam na league na nkɔyi ma yɛ medase
what you foul for hello good afternoon hello yes sir
but it is law school we are school side
yentiwe
Francis the mechanic say Maxwell if you say you go for you pamo say piano I didn't piano as well did you mama ba e biara won ka asopọ bia e fe hoda o chero if you do say mama Maxwell na ya yawa we would say the piano ya fa no you pay up for you so a boy because ya fa no go far it's better for boy fortunate what you go for now mother but piano on chon kra what is no you tell me what ka o say what I was come out say supposed to be media okay
hello good afternoon hello yes sir
good afternoon
openi ya joso dini baby agasa free
Pastor ya fami ya mankwa amekasa free dinwe
yes yo
ni pete Maxwell pia pese pastor unse ha sigua na ekle refinandia onke go so ha ten dia semna kipa no ofo an na kipa ka fo yi ni ta ka en na ya ka fa la je te refu ni to bugeje afa ko ko tone so pe ni you ni tu kata ya de kata ko mi the right thing is done right
yeah that's so about so next hello
Francis
yes sir
Francis ya ko de
obadi adaro ma yetio
de na ase o de IT ni balance
okay
ya fantabo amaso abati cha metiana
ojo so
en kan tetum se bia se onimbo mu a ye ha to folk supporters in boom referee no omon yezi ha to folk ana ye ne obo ase ye ko ball no ye se go nti ta referee anye ni bwana FA Cup omoni starting to try ko boy ya se kligo referee na anye no o taji penalty for the team ma ombo se no den he tu de ye ka tetum se ye enye referee na boy ye modem mo ana this is the ball here bono protocol ontimi nya yenim second kwa entiye no yenim boom has of supporters yenim boom ya fa ya agin enkwese referee entiye no ekobia atin afi e ka se bedi league nde ya bedi league na ena tento kobo ni league foforo no de me da fancy
wo me so me da pa so ba so en foul free hello good afternoon
good afternoon thank you
yes sir odini baby agasa free
thank you for me do agin me do na
ajingo entio
the two more time everything is still happen we need again now the ball fortunate the part of the cinema how to be out only Olympic ball we can manage what is very to number na mo pass the day we go to do a two now we only has this year also we have a family of the league you two more time na me ya 100% thank you on pon kan oni ni
yeah that's p say obaso yemfa dodi ho hello
thank you
yes sir
what is sugar what do you mind
yentio
thank you o kala bi be kan sendi me ne ya 100% en sekina adia Maxwell o ye no ya ne haaje but o ka se wuti ni sam kan bi akia e kan bi wa wuti ni kan o ready enye fe so wan kata last no le tino ni dikete o ye heart eti asamba na se wuti o ye sport fund awo so wuti na kinti ni sem bi a o kan nya ke o ye heart en no pre si player ni free for on ka sem papa bi ada na Maxwell na kata ya sem papa bi o beti maka amako so management we after because when on the management so because of any they not the me through on only and you sure so the through on for problem because ni some no can me and the friend is plan let me can
David Isa David nya personal Isa yem foul David hello
good afternoon
yes sir me joso
hello
openi me tunka yetio
yo salama wan ka sa fi goku
yetio
kaka me kan say na ma so ka ta kotokofo a league ni yentimi ngentra na we complain too much enye sa who say no or a house in if no after a malin Yahoo tell person what has one league in Tamasi complaining. Has about 4 matches at Twasso, as a 2 tables and a little bit poor. And he has a league in the 18 with it Yabapa. And I can crab in so reaching 1992. Make I pass a protocol German. Okay, season now when you over Calico and I do back protocol. You buy a now home pass one.
Your call has been put on hold. Please wait.
No, could be me as one. I love in time, so let's share there by call on your straw. Do and then sometimes say me as on your straw fashion. Lawrence here, Jumara never bet was when I am bound for someone quite the 6 out there. Then I won't cross so. Piao, say,
in young point.
It's your point, sure.
About 4 that you could feel.
Or 2 coin. Love is here, Jumara. See, that's it.
I want to tell about one of them.
I want to know. Some about coffee and I want coffee.
Because I'm many a codes. Come up on team.
More fire. You're free for only a week.
Yeah, so now
only how.
Oh, you call. See, I'm also free.
And as a kid near
tight
triple one.
Yeah, since start times, decoder no so.